It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech. Do I look like Taylor Hicks to you? Brian Brushwood's here. Becky Worley, Denise Howell, and the Scobleizer. This is the weirdest TWiT we've ever recorded. Please stay tuned. TWiT is next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by Winamp for Android, the ultimate media player for your desktop and Android device, featuring wireless sync. Download it free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 295, recorded April 3rd, 2011. Magical hand gesture. This Week in Tech is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Business travel can kill your company's profits, so do more, save more, and travel less with GoToMeeting. For your free 30-day trial, visit gotomeeting.com/TWiT. And by Audible.com. Sign up for the Platinum Plan and get 2 free books. Go to audible.com/TWiT2. Don't forget to follow Audible on Twitter, user ID audible_com. And by Carbonite. Backing up the files on your PC or Mac is safe and easy with Carbonite. For a free trial plus 2 free months with purchase, go to carbonite.com. Offer code TWiT. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, the show that covers the tech news of the week. And I have brought in a massive panel of social media experts to dissect and explain what is happening in the world around us today, starting with, from South Austin, Texas, El Diablo.
And Little Jerry, right here on my shirt.
Mr. Brian Brushwood.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
Great to see you, Brian.
Dude, always love being
You're in
here.
town for Scam School.
Yeah, just shot three nights of Scam School, 12 episodes.
Wow.
Taking a day off, visiting Petaluma.
Shot 12 episodes at once?
Yeah, we rock 4 of those a night, and it's insane. We never know what we're going to get in terms of the crowds or how drunk people are going to be.
So you want to get them while they're drunk.
Yeah, well, but not too drunk. So it's like, early in the evening, that's when you do like the puzzles, maybe middle of the evening, card tricks, and at the end, you're like, which is longer, my left thumb or my right thumb? Now give me a drink.
Also with us, which is longer, your left thumb or right thumb? Becky Worley.
I will be
from Good Morning
on that
America.
question.
Now, I have up for you just your Twitter handle, Worley.
That's me, B. Worley.
Is there anything else you'd like me to...
Becky's legs.
I'm with you.
Becky's legs. Is there a Becky's Legs Twitter account?
There definitely is. There's a Becky's Legs Twitter account.
Is it a busy account?
I don't know. But it definitely ties into one of the stories we have coming up later on Twitter.
All right. We'll stay with that.
That's exciting.
Also here, good to have her. In fact, she's got a specific beat today from This Week in Law, Denise Howell.
Yo, good to see you.
Bags and Baggage and Blog Rhythms. Good to see you. It's great to have you on.
Wonderful always to
Thanks
be
for
on
being
TWiT.
here. And finally, as if that weren't enough, the Scobleizer is also here from his mountain lair at Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today.
Sounds like that should be in the Caribbean. Half Moon Bay, man.
It would be if they had more than 12 days of sun a year, although this appears to be one of them, and poor Scoble's inside with us.
Oh, well, Robert, thank you for joining us. We appreciate this.
I can look at it out the window. Maybe I'll take the camera and show it to you. It's beautiful. Beautiful day.
It is. It's a rare, beautiful day in Half Moon Bay, normally the foggiest place in the world. Look at that.
Wow. I can see Mavericks. Oh, it's big. It's big out there.
That's the big surfing spot, Mavericks.
Yeah, somebody just died there a week ago.
I know,
dear.
it's kind of harsh.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
30-foot waves.
Let's see.
Way to bring the room down, Robert. Nice way to start off the
That's
TWiT.
what you take
Great,
risks with your
super.
lives.
This is
by
going to be a
going-
major upper
A
show.
little later on, Robert's going to start a new feature on TWiT, News of Next Week. No, seriously. Robert wants to do that.
All right.
Like stuff people will be talking about next week. I'd like that, actually.
I got a few things. We were talking during the pre-show about these new 3D cameras that are coming out tomorrow, and I got some iPad apps.
We actually got in a little bit of a discussion over 3D because I'm of the opinion it's a gimmick. I just don't understand why people are still making 3D stuff. I don't think anybody's going to end up buying it. Consumers are going to be upset that they fell for this scam. But then you, Brian, you like the idea of 3D, at least in terms of movies in the theater.
Yes. Well, don't hate the idea for the implementation. Certainly, we have a very crude implementation of 3D right now.
We have the same crude implementation we had in 1956 with House of Wax.
We do and don't. But when you get to, for example, James Cameron created the entire real 3D company so that he could tell the kind of stories he wanted to tell, and he made big changes as far as the circular polarized lenses. He can tilt your head left to right, and he's getting ready to make more announcements saying that Avatar 2 is going to be in more than 24 frames per second, which we haven't seen.
What does that mean? I mean, that's what film is. So it means he's shooting it like video style?
Well, no. He's talking about 48 or maybe even 60 frames per second.
And what would be the advantage?
Well, Roger Ebert wrote a giant article trashing 3D, saying, I hate the fact that we're spending all our time focusing on 3D. I think, like you, he says, I think it's a gimmick. He says, a decade ago, I saw film shot in 60 frames per second, and that was magical. That was like a window into another world. Now, if James Cameron, who is a big believer in 3D, also seems to agree and says, let's also take it to 60 frames per second, that's going to be a win. And I think this is the equivalent of, it's a good idea with rough implementation, and as each successive generation gets better and better and better, there'll be a time when all of a sudden 3D won't be a joke. Now, let me state unequivocally, I love 3D in the theater. I hate 3D in the home right now. I think it is gimmicky. I think it does induce nausea. I think the glasses are horribly overpriced. And, of course, there are some with the passive lenses now, and they are dimmer. But it's a step in the right direction. And I have no problem with 3D as a motivating force to get us to develop new technologies. Did you see there was one YouTube video somebody released of them using multiple projectors to create a floating, hovering 3D image in the fog that you could see from different sides as you walked around it. Did you guys see that?
I haven't seen that. We've seen sort of holographic projectors in one form or another ever since Star Wars, but it just doesn't, and there's multiple technologies for it. It's just, what's the practical application? Why do we need this? Why is the industry shoving this down our throat?
Well, to sell more TVs.
Right. But is there...
It's funny, the irony was the movie industry started it because they wanted to give us something we couldn't get at home.
Right.
Because they wanted people to keep going to theaters. And then the TV industry responded by, okay, we'll make those too.
Well, that's the hard thing. It's like it's a rough position I'm trying to defend because I am in favor of a novel, awesome experience at the theater, which 3D could be a part of. But I am not in favor of the commercialization and the way people are telling you got to buy a 3D TV. Do not buy a 3D TV right now. If you want to get into 3D, now is not the time.
Well,
but of course you don't have that choice.
Here I am. I just bought a new TV and chose not.
Here I am arguing for a 3D TV because most of the best TVs from every manufacturer have 3D capability. You may not use it, but if you're going to get the top of the line pie.
Yeah, what we were talking about before the show started was these new cameras are going to get hooked together, and you're going to be able to film 3D at home and put it up on YouTube. And I didn't even know this until I visited this company on Friday. But YouTube, if you put the video side by side of the left and right eye, it actually lets you watch 3D on YouTube, and it lets you choose the kind of glasses or TV set that you have. It senses that there's these 3D videos that you're putting up and lets you switch them. It's really smart.
Well, we saw the Sony Bloggy come out at CES, which had this same 3D capability.
It didn't come out.
It was
They
announced.
talked about it. They don't know when they're going to ship that sucker.
Yeah.
Well, you know what came out this week? Let's talk about real stuff.
Let's talk about this week in tech.
This week, the Nintendo 3DS. They say...
No, wait a minute, why are you sighing?
I saw it. You have seen it?
Not impressive.
Really?
It's got a little slider. And I think this is the best thing, and I wish all 3D devices had this. You could turn down the 3D or turn it up. It's okay. Stuff jumps out at you. It's kind of interesting. It almost feels...
It's free.
Yeah, it's glasses. It's lenticular, which means you have to hold your head just in the right position.
But with a single viewing screen, that's not hard.
It's easy with that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you've got total control over it, and it's moving according to your head, so that's not a big deal.
It's interesting how the reviews range from a game changer to... they sold 113,000 of them in the UK.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's ever a demographic that this is ripe for, it's going to be the children who are buying the 3D.
Yeah, well, my 9-year-old nephew, I consider him a nephew. He's like a godchild. But anyways, that's not important.
He's a sucker. He's a sucker.
He bought it. He's been playing it.
He's being suckered by Nintendo, who's convincing him he needs to buy this thing.
He is getting a novel experience in a low-definition format, which is exactly what 9-year-olds want.
It's a toy. That's
not
great.
only that, but in Petaluma High School, Patrick says the Nintendo is white hot right now.
The 3DS or the old 3D?
The old one, but they haven't even seen the 3D. But if that's holds true, the 3D is going to be used in high school as well. But they use it for chatting back and forth and playing games with each other.
Really? That's interesting.
I wonder if it's because the Nintendos aren't banned the way the cell phones are.
I think it's exactly what it
schools
is.
or in the
I think that's and it's less expensive.
I have a feeling they're banned.
Petaluma doesn't ban cell phones.
They don't?
No, he takes his iPhone every day to school.
Huh.
So.
My kid takes his to
I
school.
think it depends on the age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't keep kids from bringing cell phones because parents get pissed off because they can't call their kids.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
By the way, somebody told me some research that 6-year-olds are getting cell phones now, especially in divorced families, because that way they don't have to talk to the other parent to get to the kid. They can just call the kid.
Oh, jeez.
That's brilliant. I'm down for that. As a parent of a 7-year-old, I would totally, if I just had extra money laying around, hook her up with a cell phone.
Now, there are kids' cell phones. I gave Henry a kid's cell phone. He promptly left it in his pocket and made sure it got washed.
Oh, my goodness. We're getting out in the weeds here, but a friend of mine's child is also 7, like my own, and he came to me with his iPad the other day and said, hey, my dad said I could download Skype. Can you help me set it up? And I said, okay. So I set him up on Skype, and what a disaster. I mean, all of a sudden, this kid has a cell phone in his hand where he otherwise wouldn't be allowed to have one.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
I put chat roulette on the friends. Oh, did that? No, I didn't. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Although that's what people are saying, that color application is just basically a chat roulette with strangers. Have you
Can
seen
we
it?
talk about color?
Yeah, this was the one that came out last week.
Hold on.
Yeah, Robert's pulling himself together.
But no, we're not in the same room, so it won't work. You're 116 kilometers away, so color won't work.
That's okay. Even when we are in the same room, nobody watches it. So.
It's it's an iPhone app that you take pictures with, and it shows you pictures that other people in your vicinity have taken pictures. I think it uses the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. I'm not sure which. Maybe it uses 3G, so it's strangers. The problem is most of the time nobody else is using it, so it's just you. I
was driving through Silicon Valley yesterday trying it and did not get one single hit. And I mean, obviously it's new, but
no, it's just. But the thing, the reason it incenses people is because they raised $41 million.
Well, here I actually interviewed them on Thursday, and I'm
curious what you think
about how it works. It has to be in the same room almost as somebody else who's using color. It uses the compass to know where your camera is shooting.
Oh,
it actually is listening to the audio. It's not recording the audio, but it's recording a fingerprint of the audio signature of the room. So it can tell. Yeah, here's why they're doing that. He says what we're trying to do is make it possible for a lot of people to go to, let's say, a Lady Gaga concert, and all be shooting pictures. We'll know where the performer is because everybody's aiming at the same place, and then we're listening to the audio signature of the room to join everybody into one color space. And they expect to be able to show you live the closest picture that's being taken of that event. So if somebody's in the front row, the big people in the back row will see pictures that the front row is shooting.
What do you think of the argument that is all a red herring, and that really the reason they got $41 million is because they figured out a way to collect all sorts of info? It really scares me they got the mic on. All sorts of information about their users, which they'll be able to sell. I mean, there's no sense in the $41 million unless you assume they're up to something clever.
We talked about that a lot. They got their money for a couple reasons. One, that it's a superstar team, and remember, Friendfeed sold for $50 million.
Yeah.
The guys who started Color started Lala. It's a superstar team. They built already a good team, and that got them a call from Sequoia. Sequoia came to them actually, but they are building a new kind of social graph. Yes. If I actually am in the room with you and shooting pictures, it joins us. It knows that we have something in common at that point in time. And then from then on, in fact, on my phone, you can see other people who've shot pictures. These are people I've collected by going around Silicon Valley and going to various parties and things.
So it's a little bit out of focus to us, but I'm assuming those are all half-naked people in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
baby
looks like
photos, other people babies photos.
You know, I have to tell you, as soon as I thought about it for half a minute, I erased color immediately, and I would recommend anybody who listens to this show to immediately erase that program.
Nobody under 25 will hear that advice. That's
because now that I know that it's also doing sound analysis, that really creeps me out. And this is a real flaw in Apple's permissions system. At no point were we informed that this program was turning on the microphone. I don't care if they say they're not using it. They're turning on the microphone in my phone, and they never told me that. That's bad news.
Well, they told you on my show on Thursday.
They didn't tell me that when I downloaded the Grey's Anatomy iPad app.
What? So it listens to you too?
It listens to the TV to figure out where it is in the show so that it can sync its simulcast of iPad information to where you are in the show.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Right.
That's another app.
I mean,
I kind of like that.
Well, I mean, I used it once. It didn't speak to me, but it has the same functionality. It's basically using it as a geolocator or triangulator in this case.
That's interesting. But again, this strikes me as something really wrong with the iPhone. That the only people who know this and can give permission are Apple themselves. They decide, presumably they know, but there's nowhere when you download this app that it tells you, oh, by the way, we're going to turn on the microphone.
This is the flip side of the curated garden that they have at Apple versus the Android free-range market. I would love to see the big debate is, of course, Android's a crappier web store than iTunes is, but I prefer to think of Android as a shopping mall where there could be a whole bunch of individual curated store experiences. If I'm
as Amazon is in fact shown.
Exactly. Color is on Android as well.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to download it now and see if it tells me that the microphone is turned on. Do they turn it on in the Android phone as well?
Yeah. They're using all the sensors in the device to make a new kind of experience.
Well, presumably,
I'm
one of the
paranoid because first of all, nobody's using this. Second of all, once you start seeing how it's working, you're realizing it's studying stuff about you that you might not have thought about before. It's doing stuff that Instagram or PicPlease is not doing.
The first thing it does is ask you.
What's that?
The first thing it does is ask you for your name and a picture. It doesn't tell you what it's going to do with any of it. I'm not crazy about the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I think the bigger question is the premise good enough for all the hype?
And that's the other issue. But that's why I think that there's more to this than meets the eye. Otherwise, what's the business model?
Well, Robert, you had such a great post about this that you were excited about it. Then everybody.
When I first got it, I really had a bad first experience, and that's why it got rated 2 stars in the store. Because if you're not with somebody else, it doesn't do anything for.
Right.
And also the UI is goofy, and the guys who started it admit they really blew the UI. They tried to make it too simplistic, and it's just too hard to figure out.
In this world, you don't get a second chance. They pushed a new version of it, but I don't think it matters. It's done. $41 million down the tube. Thank you, Sequoia.
That's the problem with having that much superstar attention is if you don't get it right the day you open the gates,
you're dead
toast.
meat. You're dead meat.
Yeah.
And we're into this area with mobile apps that they don't necessarily have to have privacy policies.
Apparently not.
So whereas Google gets these biannual reviews now as the result of buzz, there's really nothing, to clamp in on as they're having done something wrong here because the law is still in such flux as to what mobile applications have to do.
Does it scare anybody that now we've learned that this program turned on the microphone and was listening? Now they're not using it in any nefarious way, but they didn't have to tell us. They just did it. Doesn't it mean that there may be many other apps that are doing the same thing? Doesn't that bother anybody?
I mean, yes and no. It's one of those things where the mere fact that we're talking about it now on a very large platform is what
thanks
keeps
to Robert who found out.
Of course, but there's always
it's
something
not
like
the
that.
only app that uses the microphone. Shopkick uses the microphone to know whether you've entered the store. You turn on Shopkick, and it's actually listening for an inaudible signal that they've put in the front of, let's say, Macy's. So they have a speaker inside Macy's that when you take your iPhone inside Macy's, inside the front door, it senses the audio signal that's inside and gives you points for entering the store.
Wow.
And that's one. The other app that uses the microphone is Into Now, which does what Denise says. It listens to your TV programs that you're actually
Becky
watching.
said that, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a new app coming out of a company in Palo Alto, and it listens to the TV signal. For 5 years, they've been recording 148 channels TV, so CNN, ABC, NBC, Discovery Channel, etc., and they have a way for it to look up the audio footprint of any minute of TV or any 12 seconds of TV and tell you what you're watching and where in the show you're actually watching. And that's pretty interesting. And then it shares that, so it checks you into the TV show like Foursquare does and builds a feed. So you can see a feed here of all my friends and what they're actually watching on TV.
The difference there, at least they're saying this is what we do. I mean, Color didn't mention
Well, it's pretty
this
obvious
microphone.
what it's doing. Yeah. Color.
Doesn't that bother you, Brian, as a libertarian? I mean, talk about invasion of privacy. I guess a libertarian would worry if the government were doing
correct.
this.
The government has nothing to do with this. This is to be honest, I think that in the free marketplace of ideas, what happens is somebody has an unfair policy and it's an individual business that is too intrusive. A show like this talks about it. Word spreads around the campfire, and either people decide they don't care and they accept it, in which case that's fair too, or they decide that's not cool and Color has to change it or they go out of business.
And just put up a warning.
But wait a minute. That's only if Color tells people. Now look at the Color privacy policy at color.com/privacy. Here's what we collect.
But there's a profit motive for people like us to try to find them with the gotcha.
But how would
things
you
that are
know
wrong.
that this application, even because they don't, by the way, say that they're collecting audio, how would you know?
I don't believe
Because
they're
Robert
recording
Scoble will
audio. I
interview
believe
him.
they're building the way they've termed it is they're building a fingerprint of that moment in time of the audio in the room. So they're not recording the audio. They're not listening to the audio. There's no audio file being transmitted up to their service, but they're recording the waveform of the audio and building a fingerprint out of it. And that's sort of how this new Into Now app works. They actually didn't record the audio of the TV shows. They recorded some sort
I understand
of fingerprint.
they're fingerprinted. I understand that. Yeah.
And so you can't listen to
Here's
that
what we
fingerprint
collect when you
and tell
download
what-
and use our app. We collect the name you give us. We collect your email address. We collect the unique identifier on your device. It's shared for advertising purposes. We collect pictures, videos, comments, and actions you take through the app.
Hold on. You skipped
Information
over-
on your location.
You skipped over the line where it says we store but do not share this information, contact information, unless a court requires us to
I'm
do
not
so.
worried about the contact
Yeah,
information.
but you totally skip over that part, though.
Well,
You're
that-
editing on the fly.
Yeah,
People are
I'm
getting an unfair view of
okay,
this.
fine. I don't care about my email address. I give that out all the time. I care about the unique identifier on my device, which is all they say is not used to contact you. They exactly do not say we don't share it. They say it's shared. We collect pictures, videos, comments, and actions, and we share that. So good. Yep. They don't share my email address. They just share everything else.
Well,
Right. But Leo, you found this on the web, right?
yeah.
This is a mobile app.
Oh,
Where are you going to find this
Good point.
when you've downloaded it from
Good
the
point.
App Store?
Has anybody
and you've
ever
booted
read-
it up and you click
Yeah.
okay, but
It's not presented to
taking
me.
you through.
It's
No,
not
it's not
presented.
taking you through a series of hoops that makes you, agree or say you've read it or put in a CAPTCHA or anything that indicates that you've actually grokked this.
So what's the
thing.
law on this, Denise? I mean, is this allowed?
For in the mobile space, it's wide open. There's no California tends to be the reining in of the folks in the web space because we have this very restrictive law as to what websites have to do as far as privacy goes. So everyone sorts of ramps up to be able to do business in California. They're sort
I think
of
it's
the
kind of
de facto
interesting.
By the way, Leo,
standard.
the legal agreement is inside the iTunes. When you download it, it's at the bottom. There's a link with the license agreement.
Oh, so you-
And
all right, good, all right.
It's pretty lengthy.
Does it
It would
say
take
that
a
they're
few
recording your audio? Because that's illegal.
It's not recording the
That's
audio.
that's the
fingerprint.
bigger question.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
Is
wait
it-
a minute, Robert. It is recording the audio because otherwise, how
What's
would they?
the
They're
link?
sending it back to the server. They can't be doing that in the
It's
phone.
not. It's not the audio. It's recording the waveform of the audio. It's the way that they termed it. They made it very clear they're not recording a wave file that you can listen to.
Look at Robert.
It's recording a digital waveform
Robert.
of the. Yeah.
Robert, they're recording the audio and sending it back to their servers where the
No,
audio
it's
from
not.
everybody else is compared, so they know you're in the same room.
It's different though because if this audio is being recorded, right? You can actually understand it on the other end.
No, let me tell you.
If
I'll
I
tell you a
send
little.
bunch
I'll
of
tell you a
bits,
little hack that
wait,
just we were talking about on security now. If people who use VoIP telephony with variable bitrate encoding, even if they're using a VPN tunnel where it's encrypted, because these researchers are amazing, because the size of the packet varies with the variable bitrate encoding, you can actually get about 50% of the true speech.
Wow.
Just by looking at packet sizes.
Oh, wow.
So, Robert, they're
I don't know
sending a
enough about the
fingerprint.
technology, and the Into Now guys, when I talked with them, they said they actually record only the bass, because that's where the really important information is, and that's where the information is that has less distortion and less noise from the room, because that technology works even if your kids are screaming in the room. It's really an interesting technology.
Leo's got his face on.
I'm just saying, if you're hearing all this and it doesn't set off alarm bells, you're not paying attention.
Well, but here's the part that confuses me. It's like we're worried about this color app and the fact that it has some poorly worded, privacy policy, when in fact their end game is to deliver you the right coupon just at the time you want to sign up for Netflix. If you want to be worried, you should be worried about the stuff that's in the Patriot Act that's already been in there.
I agree.
Says they can turn on your phone and start listening into conversations randomly.
I agree.
I mean, it's like
there's plenty to worry about. I'm not saying that.
And the 27 things Google did this week.
Exactly. But it's like if your aim is you're worried about privacy, I feel like this is a lot of you actually do harm to your cause by focusing on such a minor. This is a nothing app. It's a tiny app in a giant store. There are so many bigger players out there. If you want to get all worried about privacy.
Yeah. But
Really? Are you kidding me?
Well, no. I mean, what are they going to do with this?
Leah's right that we should be warned that the microphone's being used.
Yeah.
And we need to know how it's being used and what's being stored and what turns out the other end. Can that audio be decompressed and listened to by a government agency? That can.
And meanwhile, a government agency, the FTC, decided that Google gets 20 years of oversight because of Buzz. Which seems to me a little draconian, but maybe, Denise, you can comment on that. Is that an unusual amount of time for government oversight?
I'm sorry, back up is what an unusual amount of time.
Okay.
I was honing in on the really cogent remark from the chat room that we should just make opt-in a law and be done with it. Because
well, that's true if people read it.
Yeah. So back up for me.
So you remember when Google announced and launched Google Buzz?
Yeah. Okay. So we're there.
They put out. We're there. We skipped over to that. I jumped ahead.
So is the 2-year biannual review an unusual amount of time?
For the next 20 years, which in Google time is, that's forever.
This whole thing is really unusual. I mean, for them to have come to this accommodation with the FTC as opposed to some more severe, a 2-year biannual review is not that big a deal. Presumably they should be able to pass that with flying colors. And what they got in trouble for was breaching their privacy policy, right? So, all that's going to be reviewed is their policies, and are you complying with them? Well, yeah, we are now. Now that.
So is it a slap on the wrist? It's a slap on the wrist.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it even?
It could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. In fact, I would submit that Google probably embraces this because they'd love to reassure people that they are getting a biennial review on their privacy
Well, and that's the thing. If you read the Google blog, it really does sound like it almost vaguely sounds like it was their idea. Yeah. Let me see if I can actually find it. There we go.
We've got the J.D. Powers FTC seal of privacy.
That's kind of what it is. It's just like, we love you and we love your privacy. So guess what we've arranged? We got the privacy police going to check on you every couple of years. Aren't we great? Buy more stuff.
Yeah, we won't be driving by your house with our big Wi-Fi slipper anymore because Big Brother FTC is watching us like a hawk. Every 2 years? Are you freaking kidding me?
So Brian, I guess I agree with you. There are plenty of things to worry about. Color is just one of many.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those. It's the latest thing, and it's tempting to get all hyped up about it. But I think as far as what's more important, an opt-in app that allows you to stream, take pictures.
Here's why I think it's important. Because we all are carrying these in our pockets all the time. And if this becomes a device that can be turned on at will for audio, pictures, location.
Purchasing history?
Yeah. This becomes the most, already is,
See,
frankly.
and I think this is the difference between you and me. I'm more scared of the government being able to do all that, which it can right now. And you're more scared of businesses being able to do that.
Yeah, you're more scared of government. I'm not so scared of government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think businesses. The problem with a business is a corporation has no morality. A corporation has one duty, which is to maximize profits.
Yep.
Which means
I think we and our elected representatives have more control over businesses. we can make some statements and have some standards in place.
And meanwhile,
I don't believe that as long as we have a two-party government.
He hates government.
As long as it's the Crips and the Bloods, you're still voting for a gangster every year.
Basically, we're screwed.
Yeah, maybe.
Just from both sides, basically.
You know what? As soon as I can afford a seastead, I'm going to move out to the Pacific Ocean and open a casino.
You and me
It's going to
both.
be amazing. On your boat.
Let's talk about casinos, though. In fact, I don't have them here, but they're putting microchips into the playing cards so they can sense whether you're stealing an ace off the table.
Jeez. If you're going to a casino,
you can't even see these.
You're giving up
chips.
all rights anyway, as I learned when we tried to bring a video camera into the.
One of these days, I got to
Bellagio.
tell you that there was an epic story I've only told once online. I don't think I can get away with doing it now, but there was an amazing night that I found myself full on cheating in Las Vegas.
We'll talk about that. And
It was terrifying and awesome.
the amazing membrane separating business and government has been permeated. Robert Gibbs goes to Facebook. Does Google's Eric Schmidt go to commerce?
I'll Google it. Let me find out.
Would you Google that? Find out. Is Eric Schmidt gay?
Is Eric Schmidt going to Congress? You'll find out about our amazing is blank 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 Google thread.
Oh,
that
dear.
meme is going to.
That meme is going to eat me alive. But meanwhile, before we do that, let's take a little break. You guys smoke them if you got them. The smoking lamp is on. I should have
Go
a
base
smoke.
What are we
Me.
talking about? I got to decide if I want to do a bio break or not.
You got time. I'm going to talk about GoToMeeting.
Okay.
You don't care about
No,
that.
well, I mean, I just don't have a good story for GoToMeeting.
He's saving it up for the Audible. The
I don't know what you're talking about.
Save it for the Audible, baby. I'm talking about GoToMeeting. Go to meeting.com/twit. It's funny, Brian. You can duck, but your hair goes right through the camera. Go to... He ducks
The
under
crown.
the camera. But the little spikes just go right... Go to meeting.com. This is the best way to meet online. In fact, business travel, as we all know, is just lately worse and worse. It's no fun. It's stressful. And, of course, it's hugely expensive. It could just kill your profits. But you do have to meet with people. That's why we resort to the conference call. But come on, a conference call. You know they're out there, playing with their Facebook while they're listening to you. That's why GoToMeeting is so great. When you hold your meetings online, they're more compelling, more exciting, more interesting. In fact, I use GoToMeeting even if it's just going to be a conference call. It's so easy to set up. I click a link. It puts an email out to everybody, giving them all that information. By the way, this includes the conference bridge, so you get a phone number, the meeting code and all that. That's part of it's built in free. So it sends that all out to them. They call in. If they don't have the GoToMeeting software installed, it takes 30 seconds. They've got it installed. It's secure. And then, by the way, if you decide to show them something, you can because they've got the window open. They don't even have to make a phone call. They have the choice in the GoToMeeting software. It says, would you like to call this number or just press this button? We'll use your mic and speakers. If you've got an iPad, it works. So they ask permission. What are you laughing at? If you have an iPad, they ask permission. They tell you. If you have an iPad, it works great. Actually, it was kind of cool. I was in a GoToMeeting with my iPad. I was sitting out in the backyard here, and I could hear, and I was like, I put in my headset, and it was so cool. I didn't need a phone or anything. $49 a month. That's it. As many meetings as you want, as long as you want. It is such great software. 128-bit SSL. If you are doing conference calls, if you are traveling too much and you like to travel less, if you have sales presentations, product demos, training sessions, collaborating on documents, a little higher, right there, right there, a little higher, there you go.
Spiky Brian hair in the foreground.
Go to meeting.com/twit. It's amazing. I think they should pay extra for the Brian hair.
You know what?
It's an
We'll work
addition.
something out. Use promo code Brian's Hair.
See how that works for you.
You'll get 0% off.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Amazon.
Yeah, this is huge.
Let's
This is
talk
the
cloud.
story.
Now, Denise wanted to say something. Go ahead, Denise.
Oh, I was just going to say I like how Brian's hair is a moving target. You're never quite sure what you're going to get.
Well, it's useful when we start to things starts to get heated. We're like, I believe this, I believe that. Politics. Hey, I have goofy hair.
I thought
And
it
it's
was like
diffused.
Dilbert's boss. It just got spikier
That's right.
as you got a little testier.
It's not
and then it kinda
fooling me
comes down.
one moment.
When I get angry, it gets taller.
Are you in a militia? I know you're in a militia.
Yes.
I'm going to buy some guns. Guns are all right. I live in Texas.
Oh, we love Brian. Are you kidding? Brian, you're my only Republican friend.
I'm not a Republican. No, I don't call you dirty words. What are you doing? Come on.
All right, let me move on to Amazon. which this week made a big play. They basically said, yeah, we are here, baby. Bring it. So maybe, Becky, you can give us a summary of what Amazon announced.
Well, basically what they've done is created a cloud service for your music, up to 5 megabytes free.
Starts with
per
5
year.
gigs.
Oh, sorry, 5 gigs. Sorry, I'm having.
And then if you buy one Amazon MP3 album,
20. Sorry.
you get 20.
And then
for a year, every year.
You can pay $20 for that.
Well,
same
it's weird because it's $1 a gigabyte. You can go up to terabyte, but it's $1,000, which is ridiculous.
What?
You can download
but
music.
wait, everything you buy on Amazon, all the music you buy on Amazon doesn't count against your total.
Right.
All right.
So basically, they're saying, hey, forget that iTunes thing.
You can stream it on your Amazon device or your Android device. They got an app for that. You can download it to as many computers as you want. I called Amazon for clarification on that because I thought, oh, well, the download, that's kind of crazy. That's the big thing that Apple's
has
been.
that
So
5
authorized devices. And they said, no, as many devices as
it's
you
unprotected.
want. Yeah. So this is this the solution for multiple devices, music everywhere, consolidation?
There's one limit.
Is this it?
It works on Android, it works on their browser, it doesn't work on your iPhone or any
Except
iOS
through
device.
the browser. It does work in Safari.
It's weird though. You only get to play one thing through QuickTime. You can't have a player.
You can't create playlists, which you can with the Android app.
My suspicion is that you'll have iOS apps within a few weeks. I don't think Amazon's against that.
When you listen to Amazon's position, I mean, basically they say the question, of course, is whether or not they need extra licenses to run things this way, or they could just.
And
Sony's
not happy. Yeah.
Their spokeswoman said, "We hope they'll reach a license deal, but we're keeping all of our legal options open."
Somebody in the chat room made a good point. You can put your iTunes music on as many iPods or iPhones as you want. There's no limit there.
Right.
But only 5 computers.
Well, and at any given time, because once you hit your 5, you can scrap all of them and then pick a different 5.
Once a year, you can scrap.
Oh, it's only once a year.
Yeah,
okay,
it's really frustrating. You have to deauthorize, and if you forget to deauthorize, like you get rid of a computer or you format the drive, you kind of have to.
Right. Maybe we should just tackle that really quickly. Do you think Steve Jobs has music on a bunch of different computers? He's going.
You're talking to a man.
Can we consolidate? When can we do this? And have they been afraid of the license question? Is that?
I think it's pretty clear that Apple has planned to announce exactly this. They bought Lala, which does this. They have built this ginormous network operations center in North Carolina. I think they were going to do this, and I think Amazon jumped their announcement.
Now, do you think that Apple has worked with, I assume they have to have been working with the music industry to get licensing to make sure everything is above board with the
music
suits?
industry used to give Apple a pass, right? That's how Apple got us started. And then now Apple's the #1 music retailer in the world.
Bar none, whether it's physical media or digital.
And the music industry is not going to give them any more free passes. They're terrified of Apple, I think.
Well, and when Amazon was asked about the issue of licenses, because obviously if Amazon's just going to offer this service, then why is Google wasting their time trying to put together their music service, looking for licenses? Same thing for Sony. According to Amazon, quote, "We do not need a license to store music in a cloud drive. The functionality of saving MP3s to cloud drive is the same as if a customer were to save their own music to an external hard drive or even iTunes."
I beg to differ.
Here's a different way to look at it. I showed my son this, and I said, "What? Isn't this cool? You can upload all your music." He was like, "Dad, we listen to Pandora in high school now. It doesn't matter that you can upload your audio and your music to some place. You just go to Pandora and type in your artist's name, and
there's a difference because Pandora, you don't get to choose a song.
Playlists. This is all about that.
Specific songs.
Right.
Now, Denise, Amazon says you don't need a license. That's not what the music industry says.
That's right. And Amazon has stepped into this legal morass that's been going on. Did you guys see the Hulu April Fool's joke where they put you back to the late 90s? Yeah, so they stepped right back into that time zone when they decided to do this because Michael Robertson, who, Leo, you should have on Triangulation.
MP3.com. Yeah. He's the one who promised the democratization of rock stardom, basically, the middle class rock star.
Yep.
He is on your list as a Triangulation guest, please. He'd be really good.
I'm sure he is, yes.
He is a pair.
He is now.
He's a really interesting fellow, and he's been at this since the late 90s when his first company, MP3.com, got sued into non-existence with the then largest copyright verdict ever awarded, hundreds of millions of dollars, which has been blown past now. But anyway, they were trying to do this, what seems like a totally commonsensical thing, that, you've bought it, You should be able to time and place and device shift it to your heart's content, but the content industry has never bought into this.
And as Robertson points out, the law has nothing to do with common sense.
Right.
It's the law, whatever the law is. But do we have a law? Has there ever been any decision on this?
There have been decisions along the way that are sort of incremental, and I've seen the Wall Street Journal and other people say, oh, well, the fact that the Supreme Court didn't step into the Cablevision decision, which came out a while ago, you guys probably remember, in 2009, the Supreme Court decided we're not going to touch that. Cablevision, if they have these remote DVR facilities, we're going to let that happen because really it's just it's the users making a copy on their own local space, which we know they can do under the Betamax decision from so long ago.
Now,
and all that Cablevision is doing is providing some sort of remote backup of that, and it's really just the users making the copies. Here, this is a little different, right? I mean, we've been talking about here you have a locker. You have a drive where you can upload stuff that you have downloaded from Amazon. You can upload whatever's on your computer. It's like when you first open iTunes and it does a scan and it says, can we see what MP3s you have? And we'll add it to the iTunes library. It's the same thing. They're going to add it to the Amazon's
and make a copy.
And that's what Tom said. This is just Dropbox. What's the big deal?
Well, and as I understand it, part of the reason that they shut down MP3.com, because it was a very sensible thing. This is a time when a lot of people were still on dial-up, and they said, we've talked about this before, but instead of actually uploading and encoding your CD and spending hours to upload it, why don't you just put it in? We'll look at the Redbook audio tag on there, like, oh, you've got that disc, well, now you have access to those. Part of the problem, as I remember it, has been over a decade now, was it's like, but that's not theirs. They did not encode it. You did not upload it. You're just giving them your files, and that's illegal, whereas this is different. This is a case where it really is grabbing the files and uploading them. Is that correct, or is that the distinction that makes this okay?
No, because the users, you have to remember that the whole digital music arena is governed by the licenses that apply when you download those things, unless you've gotten them off of some P2P file sharing service, right?
Oh, well, then I'm in the clear.
If you've gotten them legally, then you're hemmed in by all the licensing around that file. If you've gotten them illegally, well, then, you're
just
already
a thief.
Yeah, exactly. So
what did the licenses say? Do they say you can't do this?
No, that's the fascinating thing. Amazon, and I was really thrilled to look into this and see that Amazon has gone out on a limb with its own MP3 download service. It's telling people, and for everyone listening to this show, you're all going to say, duh, well, of course we can do this. But the law doesn't agree with you necessarily, and the entertainment industry certainly doesn't agree that you can copy, store, transfer, and burn for personal entertainment, non-commercial use, everything that you download from something like Amazon's MP3 music service or iTunes. iTunes has very different terms, by the way. They don't tell you that you can copy, store, transfer, and burn, but Amazon does, which I thought was really interesting. These terms of service aren't that old. They might have been drafted with this kind of service in mind. That we're gonna go ahead and let people
start. Is the music industry changing its stance because
storing them?
Denise, you live down there with the music industry. Are they changing their stance because of the proliferation of these streaming services now? Because Spotify over in Europe, you just type in a song name and it starts playing.
Well, all of these Mog, Rdio, the Rhapsody, they're all licensed, right? But
and that's streaming. But
that's
we're not
streaming. That's not storage.
Yeah, we're talking about a user downloads.
They know that's where the world is moving, and I think they're starting to change their. If I was in the music industry, I would start changing my legal stance on this stuff, because I know kids of the future, kids of today are streaming. They're not downloading anymore. They're not. My son is not.
Although,
stealing
Robert,
music.
all of these services like Rdio, Mog, and I think Spotify, I haven't used it because it's in Europe only, allow you to download copies to your device, don't they? That are local copies. You just have to validate that you have a license for it once a month. Because you have to keep paying the $10 a month.
That's true if you're paying the $10. But,
yeah. So in other words, you do have a physical copy on. Well, I don't know if that's physical, but you have a copy on your device. It strikes me that Apple actually knew what it was doing, and they were just playing a little game of chicken with Amazon, and Amazon blinked, launched this service, and now Steve's sitting back saying, Yeah, let's see how that works out.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of like the UN. We have to go in there and somebody has to go in there and make the first salvo against Gaddafi. Who's it going to be?
Arab League says, we'll do it. Come on, everybody, follow me. So the U.S. goes, yeah. And then where'd everybody go?
Look back. I mean, as a consumer advocate, what I'm hoping is that Amazon has done this, and either it's, as you said, Leo, this is what I think is the worst case scenario, that Apple goes, fine, Jeff, you fight this battle.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this. I got too much stuff. But as a consumer advocate, what I'm really hoping is that Google and Apple just speed up their timetables and go, fine, we're all in. Let's all
wouldn't
get
that be
in
interesting?
Tomorrow.
Take us on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we're all in.
Could this be a case where Amazon is doing something to bust out of its second or third place? Because it's trying to get in. Of course, it's it's second place in music, I assume, in digital. I know it's way behind Apple.
And
of course,
Walmart's second place.
Okay, so it's third place, right? Same thing on online video. You got your Netflix and your Hulu, and then Amazon is in third place in there. Maybe this is a way where they can try to get a first mover advantage to change the rules or shake up the landscape to get a better position, both for their music and for their video.
Well, look what Amazon's doing. With the Amazon Prime, with streaming, they're going after Netflix. They're going after Apple on the music front. I mean, Amazon is, they're going after publishers. They're saying, with the Kindle, I think they're going to do an Android application. Yeah. They're going after Google with the Android marketplace. I mean, Amazon is moving on all fronts at this point.
So what's interesting is, again, Michael Robertson, he's now at MP3 Tunes, which does a very similar thing, and he had an interesting quote in an Era's technical article. He says, quote, unlike us, Amazon is also a music retailer. This means they've entered into a license with all the major record labels to sell music, but these licenses have specific restrictions, things Amazon can and can't do, and things they've agreed they won't do. So maybe it's kind of a moot point whether it's illegal what they're doing. It's certainly a violation of their current licenses, and it could screw up their ability to sell music.
And Reuters said that Amazon only informed the labels a week prior to the announcement that this is what they were doing. And one of the people who was quoted in this Reuters article said, I've never seen a company of this size make an announcement, launch it, and then say, we're going to figure out this stuff on the back end.
Google did that with the Google Books search. They said, we'll scan the books. We'll figure out the rights later.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And in a way that works, right? Because they get known by us as a first mover. And so what if they have to pay out $1 billion or $2 billion later on? It's a good market strategy, isn't it?
I mean, is this a case where finally Amazon is doing what we've all wanted, or what all of us thought was common sense for the longest time, and they're pushing the issue? Maybe they have the money to spend on it. Maybe they stand to gain market share as a result of the publicity or of changing the landscape. I mean, regardless, it's like, I don't care if this is legal or not. Like, good for them. I mean, push the envelope on this. This is ridiculous laws that have nothing to do with common sense.
And it also goes back to what the fundamental ethos of all these different companies are. I mean, Apple always says we're a design company. We make hardware. Google has always been about information. Well, Amazon has always been about the consumer. Amazon has always been trying to sell, and this is fundamentally benefiting the consumer. It's in their best interest.
We want it. We want it.
They have two ways of protecting themselves legally here, and they're covering themselves on both fronts. Because we talked about the terms of use for their own music download service and how they're going out on a limb there and saying affirmatively that users have these various rights that the music industry doesn't necessarily or has not historically ever agreed with. But then they also, have you signed up for this service yet?
Yeah.
Have you gone through the process?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that it's quite a process? First, you have to log into your account. Then you're presented with the terms of service, and it's not just something that's lurking around on the bottom of the web page. Oh, there are some terms of service. No, you have to read them. You have to click OK, I've read them, and then there's a CAPTCHA that says, yes, I've read them, and here's a CAPTCHA confirming that I am a human being and I have read these and I agree.
I didn't let my bot read this. I read this. Yeah.
And when you go and you actually read the terms of service, there are all kinds of representations when you sign up for the Cloud Drive and the Cloud Player that you are only going to use them for your own personal use. You are not going to share. You are not going to, that everything that you upload, you have the rights to upload. They are all, legally your own designated file that you can go ahead and do what you will with. So they are trying to cover themselves on two fronts.
Let me point out that it isn't just music when you go to your cloud drive. There are pre-made folders for documents, music, pictures, and videos. I mean, this is a storage.
It's Dropbox.
As much as, it's Dropbox without the clients, but how long before we get clients? I mean, that's just a question of writing a little software, right?
Right.
And so that's an interesting business. It seems to me that the business model here is we give away this free service, we get everybody to store stuff here, and oh, by the way, if you keep buying albums from us, we won't charge you.
Do you think that 20 gigs of free space to anyone who buys a single MP3 is in some way a bribe to convert their entire user base into an army of evangelists for this service?
Yes.
I mean, it's like, how hard will it be?
It's like Amazon Prime. Isn't that what Amazon Prime's all about?
Yes, absolutely.
I have to say I'm rooting for Amazon. I don't know why. It just it's that goodwill thing, but I just feel like go for it, Jeff. Yeah. I like you.
Down.
Get down.
Yep.
With your bad self. So, Denise, if you were a betting gal, how do you think this is going to shake out?
I'm betting that there's going to be litigation about this.
I bet you're right.
Can't,
yes.
Scramble and get something worked out in the meantime. I'm also really surprised because there's already litigation about this pending against Michael Robertson's company. There are cross motions for summary judgment pending.
But Michael Robertson is one thing. Amazon is a whole other thing. It would create a much deeper outcry on our behalf. If
the courts don't care about us outcrying.
They do at some level.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought they weren't supposed to read the papers or anything. They're supposed to just stay ignorant.
Now Robert's making his face.
When their kids, when they go home and their kids are bothering them,
Daddy!
Dad, why did you vote on this thing this way? The world has changed, and the world has changed in the last 5 years. A lot more of our kids are doing this stuff.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, Robert, that it's kind of strange for all of us. I mean, we're all above a certain age, and for us, I guess we can see we've developed these huge libraries of music we've been downloading legally over the last several years and would like to be able to move them around more freely. So this seems like a big issue to us, but to the Pandora and streaming generation, I think, some of this is too little too late.
I have to say, I used Rdio for a while and fell in love with it. And then somebody said, oh, you should try Mog. And I love Mog, MOG.com, even better. Same thing, $10. It's streaming music. You never own the music. Right. You pay $10 a month. You could play it on anything. They've got an iPhone, Android, and web-based players. Soon it will work on the Sonos, which is great because that's what I use for my audio. Rdio does work. But it's got 9 million songs and the 320 kilobit stream. So it's
wow.
And then if you say you wanted to download the connection to the device, you do. I have to say I don't feel like I need to own music anymore.
I'm with you. I haven't bought a song in a long time.
It's just that the obscure stuff is hard. That's the one thing that I still purchase, but you got to have sort of.
Where do you buy it?
You know me, I'm weird. I like Hawaiian
ThePirateBay.org.
You like Hawaiian music? Oh, yeah, the Pirate Bay. I got a special credit card over there. 0000000.
So here's what's great about questions like this is whatever we see shake out in the world of music seems to shake out about 7 years later in the world of video. So it's interesting that we,
we're
much of what we've seen.
That's right. And the movie industry is watching this with very
well, I'm hoping that they can jump to the end conclusion faster because it's boring to see them do the same kind of disinformation about pirated music and the same kind of disinformation that the RIAA did a decade ago.
The times is changing. Times is changing, and I have to say the music industry is terrified. I don't know if you saw the Stubbs when I was going to the Dignation event at Stubbs. I got buttonholed by a music industry executive who said I had ambushed him on Tech TV.
Wait, this is like
ago.
Live while the stream is going on?
Yeah.
He comes up
and
really?
He was still mad.
Wow.
Do you remember that, Becky? I don't know if you remember. We did a music event. It was a town hall, and we had the guy from was it NWA or Public Enemy? Public Enemy. Chuck D.
Yeah, because he was pushing MP4 before there was an MP4.
He was pushing, but he was also pushing downloadable music. He was a big proponent of Napster. And we had this guy on, I don't remember his name, from the music industry, and I said, well, how's it going for you?
That's a hell of an ambush, Leo.
I said, he said, you never let me talk, and you'd always go to commercial when it was my turn to defend the music industry. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I don't remember doing that. But
have you ever watched television before?
Right.
You can't speak for 17 minutes in a row, buddy. Sorry. I mean,
so I said, aren't you making more money than ever before? He said, no, we are not. And actually, then I went out and looked, and it's true. The music sales is plummeting. I mean,
well, hold on. That's counting new sources of revenues,
it's
like
not counting
ringtones
streaming.
and all this stuff.
It's not counting ringtones.
Okay, then you can't. That's not fair. You know, it's like, I'm sorry that you're now selling more pieces of plastic, and boo-hoo. Meanwhile, if you're making money on ringtones and in licensing music.
I just saw a stat that says something like 80% of all music is still bought on CD.
That is hard to believe.
Very hard.
Oh, I better find it.
Yeah.
That's
Not that it's not true, but I mean, it's just one of those random stata things. I mean, did you guys see this?
I do agree that there is some percentage, though.
If we're talking about bad stats, did you guys see the IDC numbers on the future of the mobile operating systems?
No.
So their estimates in 2015.
This is what they make up, though. They have no
Right, but this is crazy. Android 45%, sure. BlackBerry 13, iOS 15, Windows Phone 7 21%.
Now, what do they base that on?
They basically did a swap.
They're smoking crack.
Right now, Symbian, all the Nokia phones are 21%.
Right. Oh, they said
just
all
did
the Nokia. They'll get all the Nokia
They
numbers.
just did an exact swap on the numbers this week in bad stats.
And this is why you don't listen to analysts when they say stuff like this. They charge huge amounts of money to companies for this stupid stuff, and I never report these numbers because they're made up.
This one was one of those that I just went, wow, that is wonky.
It's some dweeb that'll be asking me for a job in 4 years. They're just making this crap up.
I was just vamping for you while you looked for that stat, Leo.
Strategy Analytics predicts that physical CD sales will decline by nearly a third this year, and for the first time put digital music sales on top. Most music is still sold on physical CDs.
I don't care if that's 51%. I'm still amazed. That's amazing.
I am too. If that's, wow.
Let me see if I can
That's
find
not a projection either. That's a
No,
stat.
that- yeah,
See
hard
tons
number.
of stories though that iTunes sells more than Walmart does.
They do, but it's just
song
that's
by song.
individual. I mean, in
opposed
the
to album.
in the long run,
That would
if you
actually-
include Walmart plus, I don't know, Sam Goody. I don't know who's still selling. Who
Sam
sells?
Goody.
But that's
Amazon,
FYE.
Best Buy. Yeah.
But in terms of number of
Becky's
transactions,
Hawaiian
yeah.
CDs.
.com. I'll be registering that now.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good point. If you did it by number of transactions as opposed to number of total music, I bet that would be wildly in the digital favor.
Well, and certainly if you found some way to produce metrics on user engagement, I mean, it's just like that is where music is alive now, is on digital. And the idea of, and what's funny is like, when it comes to music executives, I remember being in college and buying used CDs. I never bought a new CD ever. I buy all used CDs, which when I look back on it means that I absolutely never gave a single dollar to any of the artists that made that music.
Oh, you did, because you supported the people who then went out and bought new music that they could now afford. Hypothetically, it's
I guess
a chain.
I subsidized the person who bought the original disc.
Yes.
I guess I could see that. All right. But still, I got to imagine that same level of involvement, people buying stuff online, even at the heavy discount that they're able to get it from Amazon, they got to be doing more for the music. There was a fantastic graphic. I'll have to look this up. You'll have to vamp for me again. There was a fantastic graphic talking about what it visualized what artists get paid. And for an indie artist to make minimum wage per month, they have to sell about 150 physical CDs. Now, and then, how many 99-cent downloads is much, much bigger. How many albums, much, much bigger. Then when you get into streaming on services like, like RDO or MOG or any of those guys, like in order to make the same amount of money for minimum wage, the biggest one at the bottom, I forget which service was at the bottom of it, was 1.5 million streams in order to make the same amount of money that if they pressed their own CDs and sold them out of the back of their car.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Hey, just
What do
out
you
of
think we're
curiosity.
doing here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's start
really
making
curious.
CDs.
We've got
TWiT out.
5 really hip people here and 1 audience member. How many of you have played a CD in the last, say, month?
A physical CD?
Yeah.
Christmas.
Oh, I definitely have. But then again, that's because we had Trainwreck on NSFW and they gave me the CD, so it's in the car.
Okay.
And it's just easy. It's just right there. Oh. By the way, I'm going to post it.
But
in
you
the
do as a
chat room
regular
here.
point. You never do.
I mean, I don't pick it up in the living room, but in the car.
Oh, I put a kid's CD in my DVD player to listen to a storybook. That was the
There you
last
go.
time.
Robert, you ever play CDs?
Nope.
No.
Here's the
Never.
visual. I just posted it to you in the chat room there.
Denise,
And
do you
here,
ever?
I'm going to show you something that you
Zero.
haven't seen
No,
yet. So
never.
this is next week in tech now.
Okay.
And since you talked about video, this is an app called Show You. That's not on the market yet. It's coming out in a week or 2 weeks.
SHOYU?
Yeah, Show You.
For those of you who are not watching, it's Flipboard. I mean, who are
Well, no,
you're just listening.
Flipboard for video.
No, it's Flipboard for video. And you put your Facebook, your Twitter, and some other things in here, and it shows you a grid of 1,000 videos that you can fly through. And
but they're things that have been curated for you.
What's that?
Curation is the key.
They're curated.
No, this
for
is
you
this is not curated. Well, it
is because it's from your Twitter feed or your Facebook
it's from your
feed.
Twitter feed,
so it is
and
curated.
from your Facebook
That's
and
great.
from the service itself. So there's some serendipitous video in here as well. And what's really cool is if let me find a good one. If you start playing this video, and so it's a Vimeo. I'm not sure if Vimeo has the.
And this is iPad only. Show you.
Yeah, but down
In
here.
the meantime, we're all marveling at the thinness of the new iPad.
It's so thin.
Good on edge.
Down here, you can play it on your Apple TV through AirPlay.
Oh, that's cool.
And that is really cool for music and videos. There's 2 apps that I know of that are coming out this week that have this AirPlay technology and bring in videos so you can push videos straight over to your
Spin has if you're into music, Spin has an app that does that as well. That has AirPlay built into it, so you can find music and videos and play them. Here, for your delectation, as long as we're doing show and tell, is that graphic that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's up at informationisbeautiful.net.
I like visualizations of graphics. So selling out, how much do music artists earn online?
And keep in mind, I'll be the first to admit this is not entirely fair because they're talking about a self-pressed CD and then later they compare it to streaming, which of course
CD
is
album, retail album download. As the ball gets bigger, they're making more money.
No, I'm sorry. As the ball gets bigger, they're making the same amount of money, but it requires that
how much
many
they have
more
to
sales.
sell.
This is to make a minimum wage, $1,160 a month.
So if you want to make minimum wage, $1,160 a month, you sell 143 $10 self-pressed CDs because you get 100% of the profit.
Right.
Or 155 CD albums, or 11,601 retail albums, or 1,229 downloads. It goes up for MP3, retail CD, track download. To make a minimum wage as an indie artist via streaming on Rhapsody, you have to have 849,817 plays to make that money. That's the size.
Keep going.
There's more?
Keep going.
Whoa.
To make it
Last
on
FM.
Last FM, 1.5 million.
Keep going.
To make it on Spotify, it's off. You can't fit the ball into the screen.
4 million plays per month
is
to
not
make
gonna
minimum wage. I almost said minimum rage, which would have been appropriate.
In other words,
But all these services, that's weird because you would think they would.
yeah,
They're being subsidized by by the artists right now and by the labels.
It's radio.
So that they can.
It's radio.
Yeah, it's
Are you
promotional.
saying Rebecca Black's making minimum wage?
Yeah. Is she making anything?
Probably not. I would imagine. I mean, my guess is after the fact, once she hit 70 million downloads on YouTube, YouTube sends an email saying, "Hey, you want to be a partner? You can make money in the future."
Poor Charlie.
My guess is they don't
It's not even her-
retroactively
wait a
write
minute.
her a
It's
check
not
for
her.
anything.
It's Arc Music Fest.
Yeah, it's not even her. Yeah. Although it's a different age now. I mean, she now has the ability to profit from ancillary sources.
She's making money on the
merchandising. She
ringtones.
could do live
There are
engagements or whatever.
Millions of people are buying Friday ringtones. You know why? Because people finally realized ringtones are about annoying your neighbor. And what's more annoying than Friday, it comes after Thursday.
I think ringtones are the new coffee table books. It happens, and you have to talk about it.
Someone in the chat room claims, it's Ravenscroft, says that she's making $175,000 a month on YouTube.
Okay, I'll take it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, wow.
Did you see the Fallon, Colbert,
Was that brilliant?
Friday remake?
Yeah.
You know my favorite part about that is that Taylor. What's that guy's name?
Taylor Hicks. Yeah.
Who is that? Is he the guy who directed An Officer and a Gentleman?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Taylor Hicks was
he was
one.
on
won
American
American
Idol.
Idol.
And
okay.
what I loved about it and why I'm so glad we're talking about it now is because the entire season that I was watching American Idol when he was on it, I thought that if you took George Clooney and Leo and you had a love child, it would be Taylor Hicks.
I believe that.
You
Totally
have to look at a
believe that.
picture of the guy.
It does kind of look like me.
I could totally see that. You have a harmonica?
Friday.
You gotta get all scratchy and
Gotcha,
voice and
boy.
sing it. Sing it. I'm
It's just the
telling
gray
you.
hair. All us gray-haired guys look the same.
It's great for those of us with daddy issues, so it's super. It's super.
That is awesome.
Come on, sit in my lap. I'd like to tell you a little story about something called Audible.
Oh, nice segue, daddy.
Come on, baby. Remember when
Read me a book, Daddy
remember when I
Leo.
used to read to you? You'd sit in my lap and I'd say, let me tell you a little bit about Harry Potter. I'm a big fan of Audible.com. I think you all are. I know you are, Brian, because you do a lot of, you're traveling.
Traveling all the time.
Traveling, man. Audible allows you to download any from almost 80,000 audio books. You're the guy who turned me on to the Stephen King books.
How far along are you?
I'm still on 5, I think. I still got a ways to go because I interrupt with because I don't want to just read Stephen King.
Well, you'll spend a whole year doing it. I mean, it's a year-long extravaganza.
I'm saving it for when I circumnavigate the globe in my trawler. then I'll have the Stephen King. So meanwhile, I'm varying it up. I'm reading. I'll tell you what I'm loving right now. Do you read sci-fi at all?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Do you know Peter F. Hamilton?
Wait a minute. Hold on. You know I'm like crazy into Peter F. Hamilton.
So you've read The Dreaming Void?
Yes. I just finished the Void trilogy. I had read the first 2, and I was waiting for the third one to come out.
I'm watching a bromance happening right here over
Come here and sit in my lap, Brian.
I love the singularity too, Leo.
Oh, Brian. This is the greatest sci-fi book ever. I think it's really one of my new favorites. I am so digging it.
Yeah, what's great about it. It's science fiction. That's hardcore science fiction, but somehow manages to completely flip-flop from being a full-on fantasy novel.
Right.
Within
he mixes the genres very.
Right. It's still like it's all in the same world, but there are a set of conditions that allow a fantasy novel to take place within the science fiction novel. Have you gotten to the end?
No. I'm in book 1. Don't say a word.
Oh, wait, you're just starting it?
I just started it.
Okay.
But you know, it's funny because I downloaded War and Peace, which is, by the way, a damn long novel. It's really, really long.
Great observation.
Don't know if you've heard about that yet.
Yeah, and
we learn a lot on TWiT. We do.
Damn long novel. There are several different versions of War and Peace, and there's a one that's really beautifully read. And I started listening, and then I thought, well, maybe I should do this Dreaming Void first. I'll save War and Peace for my circumnavigation.
But
and then I realized, really, he's as good a writer as Tolstoy. I mean, this is very vivid, and in some ways, it's kind of like War and Peace in the sense that it's a very, palpable, real world with a lot going on, a lot of people. It comes alive. I have to say, this is the year 3535.
If indeed man's still alive.
If woman, can survive, they will fall in love. There's actually a lot of hot sex in this.
Well, that's what's great about Peter F. Hamilton is that he doesn't lose touch with what makes for a good a good story. I was about to say meal. Like you gobble the book down.
That is a good meal. I love this book. Anyway, but that's all, you could get, this is a 3-book trilogy. You can get the first 2 right now free.
Yes. And of course, I don't know if the listeners, if you're going to start at the beginning, I'll tell you, your pick can be the Dreaming Void trilogy.
No, you're right. You should go back.
I'm going to say start with Pandora's Star because this takes place 1,000 years after Pandora's Star, and this is a time.
And Ozzy is still around.
Yes, he is. Boy, do I want to give spoilers? No
Don't
spoilers.
spoil it.
So good.
You're right, though. Now, the only thing I didn't like about Pandora's Star, and then that's 37 hours. Then there's Judas Unchained, and that's another 37 hours. But the only thing I didn't like is when Al Capone showed up.
Oh, no. You're thinking of a different series.
Oh, that's not this one.
No. You're thinking of the Night's Dawn
Night's
trilogy.
Dawn. I don't like that as much. It's a little weird.
Yeah, well, and that, by the way, major spoiler you just gave up on the Night's Dawn because you spend the whole first book not understanding what's happening, and then that thing doesn't happen until the second book.
Oops.
But that's all right.
Don't read the Night's Dawn trilogy anyway. Read Pandora's Star. No, this is the one with the Prime.
Yes. With Morning Light Mountain. Yes, exactly.
You know what? You're right. This is a great.
So you got to read those 2 first, and this one, then the Night's Dawn trilogy takes place 1,000 years later with a couple of the same characters.
You're right. You should read this first.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. So, and the beauty of this is 2 books, so you can get both of these, and you'll be done.
And what's great is one of the characters from the first 2 books essentially
Becky looks so bored.
I know.
Poor Denise and Becky are like, oh,
nerds.
Is this a nerd fest or what? I swear to God.
Well, no, it's just, actually, I'm taking notes because I'm looking for my next thing to download.
Oh, you might like
Audible,
this.
Just for me, as opposed to for my kid.
Yeah, this isn't a kid book.
Downloading.
Do you? Now there are great kid books. I should say on Audible.com. It's a really great resource.
And in fact, I mean, Audible's why I'm not in Becky's boat of having listened to a CD recently because I do it all for him on Audible.
No Baby Beluga for you. You've got Audible.com and Redwall. Oh, I loved Redwall. Wait, in about 2 years. In 2 years, your kid will love Redwall. Oh, it's such great stuff.
Redwall. Okay, I'll put that one down.
Brian Jacques. There's a lot of these.
You know the Catherine Lasky books? They did the movie last fall, The Guardians of Ga'Hoole?
Yes.
They did with that movie what they didn't do to Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. They took a great series of books and tried to condense it all down, and it's really bad. If you've read the books, you don't like the movie. So I actually haven't let him watch the movie, but the books are great. So look for Catherine Lasky. She's done 2 very long series of kids' books.
Redwall, the author, just passed away, Brian Jacques, and that's sad because he was writing an amazing series. There are 5 of them now, I think. Highly recommend those for, I would say, what do they say the ages
Young
are?
adults?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit younger. I'd say a 10-year-old, 11-year-old boy would be perfect for this because it's about a mouse, a young mouse who has to, learn how to fight and stuff. They're animals. So it's a little bit the younger kid, but I just love this. If you love fantasy, the thing is, an adult would love this too. Well, now we've just given you like 20 different books you have to get.
You know what's funny? None of them were the ones I wanted to share. That's the funny part. But
Okay,
I'll save them for another time.
All right, because there's so many. That's just what happens when people
There are
listen
so
to
many
Audible.
to choose from.
We get together, we start talking. Have you heard? So I'm going to say Pandora's Star. You're right. And
That's
Judas
the beginning.
Unchained. That would
Yeah.
be a good 2 to get if you love sci-fi. Audible.com/twit2. It is about an epic battle for the survival of the human race.
And it takes place like it's one of those 1,000 years from now, everything changes, and yet the important part's all still the same.
Yeah, I
Attractive ladies, attractive men getting together.
They're even more attractive because they've got
Shooting each other.
rejuve treatment.
That's right.
Yeah.
People kill each other, and then they just, like it's a video game, they come back.
Yeah.
I was not bored. I was just obsessed with finding.
Oh, my
photos of
God.
Taylor Hicks.
Wait,
look,
did you
so-
Photoshop that?
Isn't that unbelievable?
That looks like you Photoshopped
no.
Leo's face on. I'm going to hold that right up to the camera. This is
Wait a
ridiculous.
minute. No, I can do it. I
No,
can do
Leo
it.
will do it. He'll take
All
a
right.
screen grab.
I can do a screen
It's just
grab.
from Google images. It just drove me nuts the entire season.
You think that looks like me? His head. His head.
It
Wait
looked,
a minute.
I actually thought you had Photoshopped Leo's features onto George Clooney's face.
His head is actually strangely large.
It is
Really?
kind of weird.
Seriously, does that look like?
No, well, in fact, I actually thought it was a bad Photoshop when I first
it looks
saw
like
it.
a bad Photoshop.
No, that is the DNA mix of Leo and George Clooney. That is him. See? Oh!
Case closed, my friends.
I'm just saying. I think we've figured it out.
Wow.
No, that's
Leo.
the way.
I don't know if you guys are watching the chat
Wow.
room, but it's going nuts right now.
I'm obsessed with that.
Oh, all right. Gray hair, we all look alike.
gosh.
Go to audible.com/twit2, and you can get 2 books absolutely free. That's the platinum account. You'll sign up for that, and your first month's free, first books are free, and you get to keep them forever. So it's a great deal. Audible.com/twit2. So they say in the chat room somebody hacked my DNA.
True.
So I got a question, and I don't know if anyone else has dealt with this. I kind of only want to bring it up if somebody has an experience that they can explain to me. But has anyone used the Facebook migration tool to go from a private page to a public one yet?
No.
Well, because they had it. They came out with it quietly like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
and
see, that's a great thing because people like you really don't want your public on your personal page. You want to move them to a fan page.
Right.
I
Well,
had
and-
this problem, and the way I got rid of it was I deleted my Facebook account.
Right. Well, for those of us who don't want to follow in the footsteps of Leo,
Yeah.
this sounded like a dream come true. But then I read they yanked the tool earlier this week because people were using it, not understanding that it was a permanent shift. Your private page went to your public page, and it became this own thing. It lost all of the content that you had created. It lost all of the messages. Lost all. It preserved who was
dear.
following you,
That's not
but it
good.
lost all the tags, all your photos, everything. And in fact, there was an article
Sounds
in
pretty buggy,
in
actually.
Facebook. They yanked it because nobody understood what they're doing.
Including Facebook, it sounds like.
Christina Warren on Mashable details her horrific problem, this hell on earth she created for herself. However, since then, somebody has soft eased them through it. But I was hoping one of you guys had experienced it because I think a lot of personalities, when they first get started, you say yes
I
to
did the
everyone on
mistake,
Facebook.
and I said yes to everybody. I got 5,000 friends, and that was the max, and I was unusable.
Right. Well, and I'm at that 5,000 max now, so I have to say no to a bunch of people. But there's enough people who I care that they get what I'm they get what I'm putting out there right now. That I know I should use this, but apparently, like, it's difficult. Like, you can't have the same phone number attached to both your private one and your public one because they're separate entities, and no 2 entities can have the same phone number apparently.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I deleted 10,000 people. So
yeah, I remember you did that.
Why are you guys just mass murderers? What is wrong with you people?
I was the no bitch for.
Robert, do you have a private page or a public page? Or for you, it just doesn't matter.
Robert's Facebook.com/Robert Scoble is my private one, which is pre-public because I turn everything public, and then Scobleizer is my public page where everybody can follow. But I keep the private one for people I've actually met face to face and I can remember after I get home. And I have about 1,800 friends right now on it. But I got to the 5,000 limit very early and quickly realized that was unworkable. I had something like 5,000 people waiting to be my friend after they got to 5,000, and it just wasn't workable. And then I changed the rule. I have to actually know you. And
Yeah, I
you
do that
face to
too.
face.
Yeah.
And that actually, so my private page is more like a regular Facebook page.
But
now.
that's what we really need, because if we're going to report on Facebook, we need to have the experience of what it's like to be a normal person, not a public
star
figure
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a star. Hey, I got to interrupt for a second. I hate doing this show anywhere near April 1st.
I thought you were just going to end it there. I hate doing this show. I hate you. I hate this job. I'm out here.
Goodbye. I hate you all.
And then you walk back, April Fools.
Okay, there were some great April Fools out there.
Yeah, and I don't know why everyone hates on April Fools. April Fools is the Christmas of the internet. All these businesses,
if it's done well. There's a lot of stuff that's done poorly. ThinkGeek is the king.
YouTube, they did the 1911
YouTube
thing.
1911 was okay.
Dude, what are you talking about? The
Motion.
flugelhorn feline, the
Gmail
keyboard
Motion
cat?
was the best.
Gmail Motion was pretty amazing.
Do you know that somebody made Gmail Motion? Did you see that?
Yeah, they actually did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should explain this. This is a gesture-based email command system, and Google did their absolutely prototypical rollout video, professionally done.
But we know they're going to do this because they do this every year, so it's not a huge
It took me
surprise.
15 seconds. I mean, I definitely had the fish hook in my mouth.
I'll show a little bit of this, and I'll tell you when there's always a point in April Fool's joke. A good April Fool's joke is plausible, but it has to have a point where you go, oh. And there is a point in this where you go, oh, they say Gmail Motion, a new way to communicate. The mouse and keyboard were invented before the internet even existed.
Hi, my name is Paul McDonald. I'm the product manager of Gmail.
So far, so good.
Over the past decade, advances...
Let me go to a 720p
I'd say it went a while.
Advances like touchscreen technology
No, I'll tell you exactly where it goes
transformed the way
south.
we interact with personal electronics.
Yeah. So they show, and they have, this is good, they have like diagrams and stuff, and then they have a demo.
Vertical movement and turns it into actionable command.
The demo is where it goes south.
For example.
Okay, first of all, this guy.
That guy looks awesome.
He's Pat Paulson. But then watch the gestures.
Make a motion as if you were opening an envelope.
Okay.
To reply, simply point backward with your thumb. To reply all, use both hands.
Now he's completely deadpan, which is part of the giveaway.
All.
Yeah.
Reply all. But here's the fine. This is the one where I go, okay, it's April Fool's.
To send a message, lick a stamp and place it down.
You're right. You're so right. He puts his knee up in the air.
He licks his
crushes it out like a
fingers
cigarette
and crushes. Now I have to say that is absolutely.
To send a message, lick a stamp and place it down.
Okay, April Fool's.
Now, it's almost like Google has like a competition in-house because
This
they
must
also
be.
had the animal translate feature. You saw that one, right?
No.
Where they go to the farm and they show this old, they made it look like a Borat-style video where they were punking a guy, but I'm sure the guy had to be in on it. But like essentially your mobile phone, you record a pig
Well, now,
snorting.
where was that?
Oh, yeah, dude, Google Translate animals. I'm sure it's
was
While
that
you
this
look for
year?
that one, can I just admit that the livid lobster one cracked me up?
Now,
Oh, yeah!
This is Callie Lewis's crew.
Yeah.
And John Pozadides wrote this crazy. Go ahead.
It was this outrageous press release. Congratulations. We're so excited. This Leo Laporte's TWiT network and this venture capital firm and this
A number of people believe this, I want to tell you.
funding partnership have a 67% stake in Livid Lobster acquired for the cost of $47 million. Now, the fish hook was so deep
You
at this
believed
point.
it.
You believed it?
For like 10 seconds, I went, and I thought, oh my God, there really is a tech bubble. They're buying media. These fools are buying tech media. I mean,
Well, I'm glad you thought it was foolish.
Did you
Well-
see, by the way, that this guy turned the Gmail motion thing
Into a real thing.
into a real thing using Microsoft Connect.
I was going to say, Connect would be the way to do it.
I was going to say, yeah, Connect is perfect timing.
So this is Translate for Animals.
Chat room is saying that they think this was from 2010 or 2009.
It says copyright 2011.
Yeah,
Google.
so I don't know. Maybe it's an old idea.
You know, they did the toilet.
I'm going to show you a new Android application that's been developed through our translation technology. Our new app, Google Translate for Animals, translates animal speech into
human
vernacular.
This is pretty obviously a joke.
The handset records the animal sounds and then transmits them to our server.
They're saying it was several years ago in the chat room, but I don't know.
All right, so we won't repeat it if it's several years ago. You did see the new Think Geek ones. A few years ago, they did the Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Yeah, which became a real product.
And it became a real product, which I think is pretty gross because... What's the story?
I've had to keep myself from buying one.
Are you kidding me? I would so get one of those and put my daughter in there.
It was what? It was an Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back. In order to survive against the harsh winters of Hoth, Han Solo splits open a Tauntaun, sticks Luke in there.
So disgusting. And so you buy the sleeping bag with like plush entrails.
Yeah.
And you get in the sleeping bag with the entrails of the Tauntaun, and it's real. They made it.
Well, and what's funny is like apparently that's the business model is see what Think Geek comes up with for an April Fool's joke and then decide to make it because that's what happened with the iCade. We saw at CES. Right. The guy saw it as a joke and be like, people will so buy that.
If somebody doesn't make the Apple Store Playmobil set, they're really missing the boat here.
So, you know, one of the joke ones on there, if you pan down, there's a set of 3D glasses that do away with the 3D.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, my daughter is 7 years old. She will not wear 3D glasses because she hates stuff flying out in her face.
So she would buy that.
I'm seriously, it meant as a joke. I'm totally going to buy some.
I love this. So here's the Keynote Theater in your Apple Playmobil Apple Store. There's a Steve Jobs Playmobil with the turtleneck and the jams. And your iPhone slots right in there, and you can download prepared keynote speeches from Playmobil. If they don't make this, there's Steve Wozniak on a Segway lining up, first in line, of course.
Where's Leo with the live stream?
I'm surprised, Robert. There should be a, is that you? Maybe that's Scoble there, because there should be a Scoble in line there.
So great.
This is,
Look for the
this is just perfect. I have to say, I loved the Angry Birds pork rinds.
Yes.
Hey, this is a Flipboard t-shirt. What are you talking about?
I think Geek has the best. But the reason I brought that up, it's always a little scary when you're doing this show shortly after April Fool's that you might be sucked in. And nothing more humiliating, right, to go on the air. You go on GMA and say something.
Fact check something like this on a day-by-day basis is tough.
Whether a real news story was real, right?
Right.
So supposedly somebody got fired at Facebook for insider trading. I still don't know.
Was that real? I think that was real.
It broke like that night. You know?
Well, okay. So tell me, we'll play a little game, real or not? Okay, this just crossed the wire, so it might be real.
Okay.
Amazon has come up with a new Android phone.
What?
It's called the Blaze.
What?
Dual gigahertz, 1.2 gigahertz core, Qualcomm MSM 8660, 4.3-inch display, front-facing camera, near-field communications. But get this,
is that
that's
a solar
cell
Get
on
out
the
of
back.
No way.
That's
Hey, give me your
April
phone.
Fool's?
Hold on.
You think April Fool's?
I'll make a call.
You're gonna.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, she's going to make a call. Comes with gingerbread, HSPA Plus, which means it's probably T-Mobile. The Amazon Blaze UI. I don't know that one.
Chat room is split. I'm seeing fake and real almost.
It came out April 3rd, so they missed the boat.
Fake because solar cells would never work on.
It wouldn't give you enough battery
But
life.
it doesn't matter though. It's one of those things. You don't put a solar cell because you want effective charging. You put
It's
it on
just a
there
little bit
because
more.
because you want to have a green reputation. You want to make money.
That's like Jason Calacanis said. Oh, the next iPhone's gonna have a solar cell. Give me a break.
I don't know. Boy, she really did. She got up and left.
But what if?
That was like
Sounds
she
good
went
to me.
reporter
Yeah.
mode, and off she went.
That's true.
It's
That's
nice timing with their music announcement this
yeah.
week.
This is from Android Community, which is an Android blog, AndroidCommunity.com.
I got $5 that says it's real. You want to play?
Yeah.
You want?
But I'm not going to bet against you.
What do you? Oh, you're gonna be on my side.
I think it is real.
Scoble, you got 5?
I don't think that prototype is real. I bet there's going to be an app, an Amazon phone
Amazon
or
phone.
some device like
We're
that.
also hearing
it just
that
makes sense because of the strength that they've had with the Kindle. why not get into this game and try to build a brand around mobile phones?
The reason I think it's either it's a hoax not affiliated with Amazon. Who published the story?
AndroidCommunity.com.
Man, I don't know. I mean, it just seems weird that they would do it 2 days after, because everybody makes sure to wrap their presents very deliberately for April 1st, and to miss it by 2 days and release that would be pretty stupid.
Right. Is this just sort of a strange stray rumor, not an April Fool's joke?
Well,
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe. Could be a bogus. Yeah, we see that same kind of hoax before every iPhone release, which we should talk about. You guys already talked about that last week. Do you think that...
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. AndroidPolice.com had this on
April 1st. I lost $5.
I think you're going to lose your $5.
Better call it back.
The solar cell gives it away, because a solar cell does absolutely nothing.
It's not enough
on a mobile phone.
It's not enough juice.
No, it does nothing, and it would increase the cost by $30 or $40, which is prohibitive for a mobile device. So just use some of your, thinking of how to design a mobile device that would be hot in the marketplace.
I just called my Amazon contact. They're like, "What?"
Not so.
Chat room had it at the exact same time. It was a tie between you and the chat room.
They said, "I'm doing the double check because maybe I've been on another planet," but they said we never heard anything about it.
Oh, and in fact, when they published it at Android Police, they had the name was Rekindle. Now, I do think that Amazon's going to do a Kindle Android tablet. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
Yeah. By the way, one of my April Fool's jokes, I think 3 years ago, was before the Kindle came out. And if you go back and read it, it was announcing the Kindle, because I had already seen it at that point.
So it wasn't a joke.
I didn't call it Amazon. I called it an Apple thing. But
this is great, because you know what's funny?
I got in trouble, by the way. I've never been invited to an Amazon press release since.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They were not happy with me, even though I did it as an April Fool's joke, even though I didn't name Amazon in there. They were not very happy.
We should do a trade. I'll go to the Amazon events. You go to the Apple events for me.
That sounds good.
You need some sort of a co-op for the things you've been banned from. I can't believe I didn't get banned for the Steve Jobs live streaming
I'm
thing.
kind of shocked you didn't either.
What did you live stream?
So Becky was at the what was it? The iPhone MacBook Air announcement.
Air, yeah, sorry. Air.
Yeah.
And she was in the demo room, and we were using FaceTime to talk to her. It was the best grab we've ever done on TWiT. And Steve Jobs comes up to her. We were live, and she says, Steve, and she interviews him on FaceTime.
2 questions, 2 or 3. It was very short.
It was an interview.
But I was shocked that I didn't. And I was holding the phone up like this.
Katie Cotton didn't swat you? Because I tried to interview him right after the.
She usually swats me, yeah. But this is Becky Worley from ABC's Good Morning America. I think it's a little different.
I think I just looked like a bimbo, so they just weren't threatened.
Well, I think Denise is right. It was FaceTime.
Well, I was using his own product, so it's sort of like you can't really bite my hand,
I tried to pull my Motorola Zoom out to compare it to the iPad 2, and they said, you can do that when you buy one. So
you have to be on best behavior in the magic room.
Ooh, the magic.
But this was a great segment, because it started off with you guys complaining about April Fools, and then me trying to defend it. But then I got, and then now I feel bad. So it's like, well, maybe it is a problem when you're in the news reporting business.
This is like the Game of Thrones.
So going back, we were before the show. We were watching that Charlie Sheen video on ABC's Good Morning America today about his live show, and I had pitched yesterday to do the story about the SQL injection, the Liza Moon virus, and they said, "No, we got a lot of stories we got to do." And so we didn't end up talking about Liza Moon at all. But I thought people were asking, is that an April Fool's?
And that's one of the biggest stories of the week. In fact, I was bit by it on the radio show because people are calling up over and over again. So just to give you that story, it's a bug in MySQL, which is a database used by pretty much everything everywhere on the internet. It is a SQL injection bug that allows a bad guy to take over a database that a website's delivering, inject some JavaScript into the page that you get from that website.
I put a link in your lineup of WebSense did a whole video of what happens, and if you fast forward,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. All of the scareware that it then downloads onto your computer.
Well, the interesting thing that's, WebSense is watching the growth of this. When they first announced it on Tuesday, I think it was 24,000 sites had been impacted. By Thursday, it was 640,000 sites, and I just did a search on Google for that JavaScript string, and I got several million sites. So it's growing exponentially.
Well, and we'll see if it grows beyond that, but keep in mind, to put it in perspective, we've got tens of billions of web pages out there. So we're looking at 0.01% at this
Right,
point.
but what it does, and I'm knock on wood because we run MySQL on every one of my sites. This is part of the LAMP stack. Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. That's what LAMP stands for. And now there are alternatives like PostgreSQL, but most people use MySQL. So I'm going to go down here and see. There's a video. All right, here we go.
Just fast forward. But it just puts up some really compelling scareware that looks, they call it Windows Stability Center as opposed to, Security Center. And it has you install and then reboot the computer. And then what it does is says you're compromised, you need to buy something new.
Right.
And then you end up, it has a perfect input.
I like
for
it
all
that
of
they're
your
showing
credit
this on Windows XP. Which kind of says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Using Internet Explorer, too, I might add. But the truth is, the hacked sites are initially websites, not your home computer. But if you go visit websites, some of which are completely normal websites you've visited many times before, but once they're hacked, they start affecting and impacting your system. And we heard from a lot of people on the show today who had exactly this, warning. You've got a bug. They install the bad stuff, and they're stuck forever. I mean, they're just in bad shape.
I just talked to Brian Aker, who was one of the main developers.
He
on
wrote on MySQL. Yeah.
And he was talking to me about the new Drizzle database, which is a fork of MySQL. And he said they did all sorts of re-engineering to make that really small and light and get rid of a lot of the cruft that's built up.
Of course,
over
remember,
the years.
Oracle bought MySQL, and a lot of people like Brian were a little unhappy with that, and Drizzle was kind of a response to this. But actually,
Drizzle started before they got bought. He put it this way. He said a lot of the corporate customers who were using MySQL, like SAP, forced them because they were paying millions of dollars to put in features that the internet, me and you don't need. And also, there was just a bunch of stuff.
So we'll just pause it right here on this video. This is the warning that you get on your PC. But Microsoft Security Essentials Alert. Is that the warning, or is that the actual? Is that really? See, I'm even confused. No, that's not Microsoft Security Essentials. That is the pop-up that you get. Potential threat details, unknown Trojan, and you have 3 buttons: clean computer, apply actions, or close. Of course, you're not going to close it. You're going to say, well, gee, I better clean the computer, or apply actions. I don't know what that.
And then
either way, they all 3 take you there.
You restart again, and then what it does is it takes you to a page that does a complete scan on your system. It shows you where you're compromised. And Leo, go to 410 in the video, and you'll see it has a perfect setup for inputting all of your credit card information.
Oh, that's nice. So that you can buy this fix, of course.
Yeah.
Wow, that does look good.
And it goes through
Windows
the whole
Stability
thing.
Center.
Yeah. Windows Stability Center.
That's it. Purchase license for this is Microsoft. I'm buying this from Microsoft.
Of course.
It said it was secure.
Right.
Wow.
There was a Visa logo right on there. How could they have that if it's not real?
Especially the special discount offer makes it really compelling.
Yeah.
It's even on sale.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Leo, would you ever see this on a Mac?
No.
No.
Not now, anyway. But there's no reason they couldn't write this on a Mac.
But we've been saying that for 12 years.
Yeah,
but
why should they attack the Mac?
Because the market share is higher and the
still not high enough.
But the
it's so easy to do this on Windows.
But the income level of the targets is so much higher. Why wouldn't you?
Well, all I can say is we know that these exploits are possible because Safari was hacked in 5 seconds on Pwn to Own about 3 weeks ago. We know that there are plenty of vulnerabilities in the Macintosh. Now, there's one thing on the Mac that is a little different. I think you would be asked for your administrator password before any of this could have happened. That's one extra layer, but I think that a lot of people would just say, yeah, fine, it needs my password to install this.
Yeah, that's something that always drives me nuts. Not that I'm saying you're doing it right now, but everyone says, oh, there's no viruses on the Mac, and it's like that's because you're not a big enough target.
I think that's it. I really do think there are plenty of vulnerabilities.
Is it possible it's just out of weird respect?
No.
Is it
no,
possible?
it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Not when there's money on the line.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
absolutely not possible that out of respect.
But the money's there.
No,
well, no. Think about it. There's hundreds of millions of Windows computers out there. And you're going to have, by the way, a very high percentage of success because most of these users are novice, neophyte users who are going to go for this.
Right.
They are also terrified about security already.
Fair enough.
Plus, also, the big money is in getting a zombie botnet so that you can run DDoS attacks or
Actually,
you can
in
use
this
them
case,
to send spam.
In this case, they're not doing that. What they're doing is getting your credit card.
I have been
They're
waiting
charging
for
you
this.
$50, and there are some cases where you pay a yearly fee.
Wow.
They have you. You never know that you were hacked.
Yeah, that's called Norton antivirus.
Oh, man. Wow.
You know where
Wow.
I
I'm
worry
going to
less.
take that back because that mafia is coming after me. I'm
worry-
changing my address.
I actually worry
man.
less about, and somebody made a good point in the chat room, less about Macintosh OS 10, more about iOS. I think that this is a majority platform, the iPhone. This is going to be a very juicy target.
Okay, but
soon.
we've been talking about that over and over again, and everybody's trying to sell you a mobile security suite. And
True.
I'm sorry, where is it? I'm not recommending it
Well,
until
let's
I
get,
see a mass attack.
Look, if you're a hacker, hey, Brian, give me that $5 that you.
Yeah, all right. That you won from me.
I would like
You're
to
a
give
punk.
you $5. Come on this show. We'll change your voice and face. You don't even have to, you could Skype from a secure location. And tell us, why don't you write attacks for Macs? What's the story? I'd love to know
prejudice.
that.
Let's get that
I've
guy who has
talked to
the
a
power
few
of
them,
1,000
Leo,
hackers.
and they say the architecture is dramatically different. It's a little.
Well, they don't know
it. Is
it.
harder.
I think that's
It is harder
probably
to
the
get
case.
into.
That they don't
all
know
have
it.
Macs. Microsoft used to invite hackers up to Microsoft every year when I worked there and have conferences with them, and they only use Macs. So maybe there is a little bit of.
You mean the bad
respect.
guys all use Macs?
A lot of them did.
That's interesting. They feel safer with Macs.
A lot of them have Linux as well, but you would walk around the room, you would see a lot of Macs and a lot of Linux machines, not very many Windows machines.
Well, while we're talking about Macs, I guess WWDC they announced.
Yep.
And what's the predictions? What are we thinking we'll see?
No iPhone for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Why do you? That's the general rumor. We agree. That's the case.
I would, if it weren't for the Verizon iPhone coming out just
I
a
think
couple
that's
months
why.
ago.
It's deference.
Yeah. And plus also, it's like they have doubled down every single year for 4 years now. It's time for them to do some profit taking, I say.
I said this on MacBreak Weekly. It's time for Apple to declare victory.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just to pull a Microsoft and sit on their fat laurels and be all like, that's right, #1 right here.
Yeah. Well, they don't need to release another one. They're selling just fine, thank you.
And they probably will have exciting announcements from the software side. And I can see that in the fall, shortly before Christmas, I could see a dual-core processor iPhone 5 coming out.
September.
What about?
You think so? That early?
Well, you have to do it.
I get you
September.
announced it September, yeah.
They're saying September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because in order to
September,
get it
which might
in
turn
the
into
Christmas,
October.
in order to get it in Christmas stores, you need to get it pretty.
I'm also hearing iOS 5 will have really tight integration with Twitter, which I'm.
Oh,
wondering-
great! Finally, I've been waiting for that feature.
Well, man, I don't want to jump around stories, but did you see that article about how many
Dude,
people
'cause
are really
actually-
using Twitter?
Hold on a second. Let's talk about how many people are really using Twitter in just a moment. I do want to get a commercial in. We are running way late because we started 40 minutes late, so people who are watching live. East Meets West will begin momentarily. Tom Merritt is in the house.
And then we're also doing frame rate afterwards, early frame rate this
Oh,
week.
you're doing a
Wow.
frame rate
Yeah,
tonight?
because I got a show on
It
Tuesday.
is on like Donkey Kong around here. I'm just saying.
Did you actually say that?
I have the T-shirt. Nintendo sent me the T-shirt. Who is it? Yeah, they sent me the
On
T-shirt.
like Donkey Kong?
On like- I
My
went
favorite
all
is
the
to
time.
offer my Donkey Congratulations to you.
He said it, not me. Don't point the camera at me. He said it.
I'm bringing it back.
It's on like Donkey. Is that from a movie?
It's something the kids say.
The kids say that?
Yeah, the kids say
Not
that.
my kid.
The kids who have never played
My
Donkey
kid has
Kong.
no idea what Donkey Kong is.
You know
Are
what
you
I love?
kidding?
You know what I love about this? I am the only girl that comes on this show that Leo gives to.
Yeah, no, of course.
I love it. That is a
No.
bad.
I don't, it's true. I don't flirt with you. I flirt with all the other
No,
pretty
you give
girls.
me a good ration of abuse. I like
That's
it.
because I know you can kick my
You
tuchus.
can kick his ball out from underneath
Whatever
him.
you say, Daddy.
Yeah, it's because I look
Give us
like
your
that,
ad. I can't
like
wait
that
to
Taylor
hear it.
Hicks guy.
Come on, Taylor Hicks. Rock us with a
I'd
Carbonite
like to
ad.
tell you about Carbonite. It's amazing backup strategy for everybody.
There you go.
It's Carbonite. Yes, it's Carbonite. Back up. I need auto-tune. Stat.
That was.
Oh my gosh, can we build that into the new studio, please?
Auto-tune.
That'd be voice.
Oh, yeah, we can do that, right?
Auto-tune.
We can have auto-tune built into the studio. I think so.
Yeah.
Now you know why the #1 Google search when you type "Is Leo Laporte" is Leo Laporte
Hot.
gay?
Hot.
We're trying to change that. Hot. Is Leo Laporte Taylor Hicks? I think that would be good. I'd take that.
You know what I'm going to do?
Give it 20 minutes.
Google accuses Microsoft of stealing all their search results.
Right.
So I think what we got to do is just use both Bing and Google and just search over and over, is Leo Laporte hot? Is Leo Laporte hot? We're going to
Well,
change
and if
it.
you get the +1 turned on, you can click +1 on the links
See?
you want.
Oh, we got to talk about that too. That's right.
Oh, we got lots
Carbonite,
more to talk
carbonite.
about. Let's talk about Carbonite. Carbonite. Everybody install it tonight. If you install Carbonite, what happens immediately is it starts backing you up to the cloud. I think automatic backup is very important because nobody, let's face it, nobody remembers to do that. It also is safe in the cloud. And now it's okay to have a local hard drive backup. That's fine. I'm not against that. The problem is if there's a fire, something bad happens, a tsunami or whatever, you lose the backup. When you put it in the cloud, it's off-site. It's safe. And Carbonite is kind of like Dropbox or Amazon Cloud because you can go to your Carbonite account on any computer anytime. They even have an iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry app. There's your data. You can download it and use it. So really, it's unlimited cloud storage for, get this, $55 a year.
Can I tell you what made me a believer?
What?
Because I thought it was so clever. Because it's like, well, I got my desktop PC, right? And then I also have the studio upstairs, so I back everything up to the studio upstairs. And then I also back it up to my laptop, and I think I'm so freaking smart. And then we go out for 2 months to Orlando.
Yes.
So I pack my studio PC, my desktop PC, and my laptop into the car, and on the drive out, I leave everything in the car.
Oh, shoot.
And all of a sudden I realize all my pictures, my kids' baby photos,
terrifying.
everything I've worked on in one physical location, and we're in the middle of like Mobile, Alabama. No idea if I've never worried more
Tell
about
me
my
you
car
didn't
being
lose it.
stolen. I did not. But it made me realize
You were right on the line.
no matter how smart you think you are, no matter how many physical copies you have with you,
Right.
they can go away. They can go bye-bye. Got to go to the cloud.
Got to go to the cloud.
Remember Dave Corona, old shooter at
Yeah.
his house burned, and he had everything backed up.
Yeah.
All his photos, all his everything.
But it was all in the house or he had it
It was
off-site?
all backed up off-site.
Yeah. Dave
all
didn't
saved.
lose anything. That's the key. Carbonite.com. Try it free for 2 weeks, Mac or PC. Use the offer code TWiT. And if you decide to buy $55 a year for a 12-month subscription, we'll turn that into a 14-month subscription absolutely free. That's 14 months for the price of 12. Carbonite.com, offer code TWiT. You got to back it up to get it back, so do it right with Carbonite. Carbonite. Now, if you go to Wolfram Alpha and you type in Leo Laporte and Taylor Hicks, you do get a comparison. Hey.
If you go to Google,
and I got to point out, Leo, this Taylor Hicks meme has been a meme in the making since at least 2006.
What?
Because I Googled, is Leo Laporte Taylor Hicks?
Yes.
And got a dig result of you in some video. It says it doesn't look like Leo enjoys takeoffs. It's dated July 22nd, 2006. And one of the commenters is, that guy kind of looks like Taylor Hicks.
Yeah! That's awesome.
I never even heard of Taylor Hicks to today. This is, my life is changing.
see?
+1. So this is Google's attempt to, I don't know, do a Facebook. It's a like button.
Kind of, if you like a result.
Right.
If you think it's the right result.
Oh, but I bet you, by golly, I'll be able to put a +1 button on my website, don't you think, anytime soon?
Well, you would think.
Yeah,
You can do it
go
with
right
an
next to-
ad already.
Yeah,
You could,
I
they've
think that's
already
just a
done
matter of time.
Yeah.
And what this gives Google, and Robert, you're kind of a big pusher of this notion of the social graph and plus search, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're setting up something that they're going to release at the Google I/O conference, and
We keep
March or
waiting
something
for
like that. Google
Google Me or whatever this Facebook killer. Is it going to be that?
well, I don't know. I don't hold that.
I don't
out
think
that.
so.
No, there's no way. There's too many things we go to Facebook for, and when we go to Google, we don't go for any of those same things.
Yeah.
And we should explain, for those who don't know about this, it's only visible to those who follow you through, or your contacts through various, and it's a very arcane who can see what you post.
If you
and
go
That's
to-
the part that freaked me out
You
when I
gotta go
first
and
read this.
First of all, you have to turn on your Google profile. So you have to
Right.
go to Yeah, slash, and then hit return and set up a Google profile. And then you have to turn on the +1 feature, and I forget how to get there to turn it on. And then there'll be a page. So if you go to my profile, you can actually see the page of all the +1s I've done. I've done a couple hundred already.
And here's mine right here. But see, I only +1'd my blog and TWiT Live.
Yeah, that's the problem. Isn't it just another way to game Google?
That's an interesting question. Yeah,
and that's what we're expecting is by clicking +1 in the results. So here, let me show you. What
I can show yours. I got it here.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have it turned on this machine. That's interesting.
I'll get it. So here's your Google profile, Robert Scoble. I actually like Google profiles. So you can turn on and off these top tabs. You don't have Picasa turned on. I turned off Buzz and Picasa Web, but we both have +1s turned on, and these are all the things you've +1'd. But what is the value of that?
Well, that's what freaked me out. When I first started to read that, I'm like, what's the point of liking it if I'm the only one who knows? Because it's not like anyone subscribes.
Well, this is typical Google, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I haven't friended or whatever. And then it dropped like, oh, by the way, the people who can see it are anyone who's on your Google chat list. And then that was the moment because I keep my chat open. And so I got a bunch of people following on that, and I don't even know. But it's like, then all of a sudden it hit me that's like, wow, Google knows everything I do in my Gmail and everybody I
should
connect
do
with.
Is
turn it on.
Call the FTC. I'm sure they'd like to hear.
Yeah.
So here I haven't +1 TWiT yet. So if you turn it on and somebody put the URL to turn it on,
the easiest way is just go google.com/experimental.
Yeah, and you click it, and it shows up +1, and then it'll show up on my profile. Now, what I'm expecting this to help is Google search results will notice that I've clicked +1, and some pages actually have a bunch of people who've clicked +1. So if everybody in the audience goes and clicks +1 on TWiT, you'll.
But what do you get?
But what does that do? Does it affect the search results? Does it?
First of all, it shows you 15 of your friends or 15 people have clicked +1 on this search result. So visually, you'll see, oh, a lot of people like this single result. And I'm expecting that it will help the result. It will help that single result move up the list into more places.
I mean, you might be looking at customized searches down the road, but the reason that the like exists right now is because it gives you access to the deep user involvement for everybody on Facebook. A Facebook like is way more powerful than a tweet or even a search result because because it's sticky and it sticks around for a long time. You can like something and a week later your mom can finally get around to checking it out. There's no user involvement like that with the Google results.
I think Google ultimately wants to mine this information and use it somehow in a social search result. So when you search for a page, it'll say, well, here's what our results are. Here's what your friends liked. But it's not going to. There's not going to be a mountain. That's not going to be useful. There's a mountain of data.
Yeah. After everybody adds +1s to a bunch of things like restaurants and stuff, think about being able to go to Google and say, "Show me all the sushi restaurants my friends have liked." That would be interesting.
Here's what I think will happen.
Bing's already doing this effectively with Facebook. If you do a Bing search, you get, here's what your friends said or liked or thought.
What I think will happen is it will be data mining this information, and it'll pay attention to who your friends are and what they +1, and I could see a time in the future where every time you do a search, just as on Gmail, you have the the important emails up at the top in their own little section. I could see important results like
priority results.
Exactly. Priority search results specific to you.
They're not doing that yet in terms of, I see this as hugely positive to the overall algorithm because if you have this kind of human oversight, maybe you're crowdsourcing it, but nonetheless, you're getting eyeballs on your results.
Well, Matt Cutts admitted that, you got to have a human. We're doing some human stuff. Everything, and even an algorithm is a human imposing something, some curation on a search result. But what's happening is Google's getting left behind a little bit because social search is going to be the future of search, and Google needs that.
I think that not enough people in the mainstream can subscribe to Google properties in this way or have any social interaction with Google. So we're actually a bad test case because many of us are aware of Buzz, have tried it out. This goes back to the point we were making earlier, which is Apple is a hardware company, Google is an information company, and you know what? Facebook is a social company.
Exactly.
Twitter is a social company. You're putting your peanut butter in my chocolate here, people.
Well, no, and actually that's a bad metaphor because peanut butter and chocolate are awesome, whereas I don't know how good social media and Google are together.
I don't know if Google can do it, but it is valuable.
Already it says underneath TWiT, you and 2 other people +1 this. And on TWiT, you and 1 other person +1 this. So already those results are showing up as having some weight to them that didn't exist before.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that this is going to be a disaster. I'm not saying it's going to be a Google buzz, but you're working against your brand, and that never works well. You know, when very few cases do you get a case where Apple becomes a phone company and it works, and it takes a lot of elegance and a lot of precision and a specific vision to get there. And I don't know that Google has it to work against their brand. Google is a search company, and I don't go there to find out what movies Becky likes.
And they don't have the leverage in social yet to roll this stuff out. I mean, it's experimental, fair enough, but they need the leverage in terms of critical mass of people who are using it for that reason and are connecting that way.
All right,
I like it in concept because it works for me the same way that Twitter works. You know, you only see who you follow, so it's hard to get spammed in Twitter.
Right.
So, you know, if someone is out there trying to plug in +1s, it's not going to do any good, you know, if they don't have people following them.
A number of people in the chat room just +1'd Bing, which I thought is deliciously ironic.
There you go. +1 Bing. You're good at that Twitter bombing, chat room bombing, Google bombing. All right, here's one that'll make you a little nauseous. This is the new Apple iPad commercial. Have you seen this yet?
This is what we believe. Technology alone is not enough. Faster, thinner.
We got all that, of course.
Lighter.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make me cry?
Those are all good things.
They're all good things.
But when technology gets out of the way, everything becomes more delightful.
Delightful.
Even magical.
Magical.
Oh.
That's when you leap forward. That's when you end up with something like this.
All right, now you may be disgusted, but that is exactly the kind of ad they should be putting out now. That is a victory lap. That is a self-coronation. That is like, yes, this is it. We won the game.
You're right.
And why don't you buy one now? Because it's over.
You don't really need to say much about features.
Right.
Just say it's magical. It's revolutionary.
And nobody can get their hands on one, so.
It's sexy.
Screw you, Android. Zoom this.
But that's what's great. All of that is all that. What did you just make a hand gesture? all of that is conveyed.
Camera,
I know, but I could not. I'm sorry.
What did she do?
You don't want to know. It's fine. She made a magical hand gesture.
We all know what she did.
It conveyed all that sentiment without ever saying it. It allowed them to take the high road or appear to take the high road, but also just give a nasty sucker punch to Android.
It's what Apple's always done.
Yes.
For those who think different, for those who are smarter, better, cleaner, faster, more magical than others, we've got a device. And if you want to be one of us, make sure you use it. Yes.
You're making me feel like such a fangirl. I mean, that ad just pulled all my heartstrings.
Oh, yeah.
It just worked on me.
Yeah, it worked.
Needham & Company issued a new note to investors Tuesday, increasing projected iPad 2 sales for 2011 by 10 million. Actually, this is all iPad sales, to a total of 30 million.
Too low.
Yeah.
I'm saying 40, 45.
Just for the iPad 2?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You can't get one.
I was in the
called-
Verizon store yesterday, and they're sold out, but they have Thunderbirds or Thunder
Hobs.
By the way,
Thunder Wraps.
They came out March 29th. They started selling in Radio Shacks. I called around the country.
Nobody has them.
4 or 5. They said lines in the morning. They got a couple.
I have that bad light leak problem, and I'm not even going to get it fixed because I know that
really?
none of them have it.
Do you have it? Because I'd like to see that.
I left it back at home. To be honest, that's the reason I justified buying an iPad 2 after owning the iPad 1. Is the iPad 2, I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to leave this at home. I'll use it when I'm home. When I'm gone, this is the kids' magic window to see Daddy on the road. And I know you're down on Facebook, but man, is it amazing.
I'm not, because you have to use it.
Well,
I'm on it.
I mean, my 3-year-old, I cannot understand a word she's saying over the phone. It's all high-pitched. But when she's actually dancing and talking about, like, I'm a bird, but she's flapping her arm, and I realize she's saying, oh, I'm a little bird.
You need to see her.
It changes the way you communicate with your kids. Yeah, well, actually, usually Skype, but now that I jailbroke.
So you're not actually saying Facebook, you're saying FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Did I say Facebook?
Yeah, I was a little confused, but I got it now.
Sorry, no, I was a million different places
As
from here.
a parent, the Skype thing is unbelievable. And also being able to use it over 3G.
So Skype, I agree. FaceTime, I'm starting to come around on the FaceTime.
Well, I jailbroke my iPhone 4 just so I could do FaceTime over 3G, and it looks fine. It looks as good as Skype.
I wish they would allow that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they don't.
Yeah.
Or it should be some kind of big fat warning, like warning you're going to get subpar performance, or something where they disclaim. That kind of thing.
So how big is Twitter, really?
This was shocking to me, and this fundamentally changed my strategy.
Really?
Interesting. I haven't heard this story, so brief me.
So this is a Silicon Alley Insider, their chart of the day, and which you can follow on Twitter. And
Linkbait du jour.
Linkbait du jour. Twitter claims, what do they claim? 150 million? No, I'm sorry. Twitter claims
179 million. Now, you have not read this, Becky. Are you looking at the article right now? Don't look at it. I got a quiz for you. What they did was they broke down how many, Twitter claims 179 million accounts. Now, we know for sure, like I have Schwood, but I also have misspelled Schwood, S-C-H-W-O-D. Don't follow that one. Yeah, and all it does is it says, hey, are you looking for Schwood, S-H-W-O-D?
Smart.
This is how you spell it. This is where you go. And we know that there's accounts like Schwood's hair, Becky's, legs, Tom Merritt's beard, Leo's TriCaster,
nice.
Yeah. No, they really are. They really are. Yeah, the exercise balls. Yeah. And so, but the question is, how many of these are real legitimate accounts? So they asked, how many of those 179 million accounts do you think are following at least one person? Are following out of 179.
Well, so that's a pretty low level.
Are following
metric.
One person. Yeah.
One metric. Yeah. You signed up. You follow one.
You got to follow
somebody.
I'd say 150 million.
119 million.
Okay, so that's 80 million. Throw them out.
Okay, and then how many do you think are being followed by even one person?
I would put that considerably lower. Maybe 80 million?
85 million.
A lot of people join and nobody follows them. They're just sitting there.
I think it's reasonable to say that most average users of Twitter follow at least 50 people, would you say? Would you say is a reasonable number?
Yeah.
How many do you think follow at least 50 people?
Half.
Like 17 million.
10%.
Wow.
17 million. Use Twitter the way
that's
we...
That's a good point. I had heard at one point that the attrition rate was 70%. Sign up, watch it for a couple days, overwhelmed, fail.
Almost any normal person, unless there's a lot of incentive, that's their reaction.
There are only 12 million Twitter users following at least 64 people. That's amazing to me. And it fundamentally, they
never came back a second time to follow new people.
Or they don't use it right, or it's like, and part of the problem is
most people. My dad just got on it 2 weeks ago. He has no clue what to do with it.
Well, if he says, he'll maybe get a book deal and a TV show.
Scoble's dad says
there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to show them how to find new people to follow, and if you're not insider, if you follow maybe your celebrity friends, and
I had a little thought.
Than that, who else would you follow?
If you're a normal person? About Twitter the other day because there's a new service called Hashable. That is an interesting service. The idea is you put a hashtag in there for instance, I'm going to sit down and do a show with you guys. I should say hash meet or hash show with, and then your Twitter handles, and then Hashable is like keeping track of it. If you want to exchange contact information, I can put a hashtag in there with your Twitter handle, and it will database all of that. So what it's doing is it's using Twitter as a signaling mechanism that really isn't about being human readable. It's about being machine readable. I realized a lot of the value of Twitter isn't in human readable stuff. In fact, if you go to Twitter these days, a lot of times you go, I don't know what I'm reading. About 3/4 of it is just kind of hash.
RT at something.
Yeah. Well,
hash,
no, I understand a lot of the acronyms and stuff, but I just think that people are less and less communicating information, prose, more and more communicating kind of machine information.
Well,
and I wonder if that is really the future of Twitter, is as kind of a signaling mechanism that might have data, machine readable data as well as human readable data.
You know what it is? I think Twitter has a chance to eventually become the code that they show in the Matrix, where you could get into the Matrix, you can experience it as people and programs and stuff, or you could sit there and just look at the green raw code floating in front of your face. And I think that's what Twitter is.
This was my original idea. I called it the river. That I wanted to create an XMPP stream because XMPP allows you to have human readable text, but also buried underneath it in meta text all sorts of additional information like geotagging, like this is a link, this is an opinion, this is a reference to somebody else, lots of metadata. You could have all of that going in this stream, and I think Twitter would be much more usable if they didn't focus on human read. Well, and one of the reasons I say that is I've got the Y things scale. It sends my weight. I'm going to get the Y things blood pressure that's going to tweet my blood pressure. I can only imagine in a year or two a Y things thing that tweets all my biometrics.
It aggregates all your individual.
That. Well, that's not very usable for a human to read that, but imagine what that could be, how that could be used in other ways. I'm seeing more and more stuff like that.
So one of the things that struck me is for somebody who wants to build his brand and get well known as a performer and entertainer, I have been relying very heavily on Twitter, but what it said in the article is Facebook has a very specific answer to the question. Yeah. 600 million people visit Facebook each month. Yep. Those are people who log in and use it, whereas Twitter says, well, we got 179 million accounts. If you want to compare deep, we'll call 50 people deep involvement. We're looking at 15 million people versus 600 million people. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of people in the next few months dramatically move their efforts towards Facebook.
I feel a huge sea change. I know it's sort of late to the game, but I'm the bell curve monitor, and I feel like Facebook has just cleaved the bell curve and just taken it over in the last month. I think it's everybody aware that there's an IPO coming. I think it's just the critical mass is so there. And those of us who are very tech savvy and very Twitter focused are realizing now, oh, you want to talk to the masses?
Right.
Yeah. The problem is with Facebook, you can't do what I'm showing you on my screen. You can't mix 30,000 people together into one stream that keeps coming in at you. And you can't do something like Flipboard as easily.
Yeah, Flipboard is very good, but how usable is what you're seeing right now on your screen there, Robert? I mean, it's just kind of a...
Well, when you're talking about breaking news.
Following the news. I mean, I'm listening to it. I'm watching it. I'm watching the chat room, and it is.
But I do think that
we are curators for the average human. That's
I think people like
overwhelming and a barrier to entry.
But I think really ultimately that's going to end up being machine readable. I do agree. I think it's the nervous system of the internet. I think that this is a signaling mechanism, but ultimately humans aren't going to be able to keep up with it.
It will influence,
or at least won't want to. I mean, you'll still, most people will still be able to use it the way we do now, but it'll discover its true value. Yeah. I agree. I can see that with machine.
Machines need to help us.
Did anyone on the show besides me have to double check and make sure?
Hold on. You can't both talk at once. Go ahead, Denise.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Did anyone have to double check and make sure that it wasn't Robert that was one of the two people following more than 524,000?
How many are you following, Robert?
31,000.
Oh, good.
There.
You're not one of them.
You must have time to organize your lists because I just can't. I
have 25 lists, and they're almost all full.
Lists are very useful.
They only let me add 500 people to one list. That's really how I follow people that I really want to follow. I look at a list because that's 500 people. That's more of a normal behavior.
Ooh.
All right, we got to run because we've been really gone too long.
We didn't even talk about Windows 8, man.
I know. There's so much to talk about.
Windows 8 is great. Awesome show. Thanks, guys.
Okay. 8 is great, revolutionary, magical. Everybody should buy it someday. I agree with you. I think Facebook's about to... It's at an inflection point.
It's vetted at this point in the public's mind, and I don't think it would be extraordinarily difficult for them to pull a MySpace and just lose their status as a fad item at this moment.
I'm just really interested in the notion that there is a lot of value in textual information. But, if you go to our chat room where there are 1,000 people, actually there used to be, but now they've all left, you see immediately that it's almost too hard to follow. There's got to be some way to, and Twitter, you have 25,000, how many people you got in there? 25,000 people you're following. It's not usable, but there's a huge amount of data in there. There's got to be a way to mine that.
Well, it's I've always said that Twitter is essentially when the world started keeping a diary. And how great will it be? I mean, I wish 100 years ago we could know what the entire world was thinking on a very person-by-person basis.
We might know less because we couldn't have gone through to find the good stuff.
By the way, did you see the metric? The entire sum of all tweets, less than 4 terabytes? Is that right?
Yeah, they could put it on a couple of hard drives and give it to the Library of Congress.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah, they're actually using it to...
Why fail well? Why?
Leo, tomorrow DataSift is coming out, which will let you get value out of this 30,000 people. And you can ask it all sorts of questions like, show me all the positive tweets, or show me all the negative tweets, or show me all the tweets that have Leo Laporte.
This is our This Week and Next Week portion of the show. What is the name of this?
DataSift. It's coming out on Monday. I'm seeing it.
Now, they were working on that. They were working that on when it was Surmise, before Surmise got bought out and got ruined as a Twitter search. Surmise was fantastic. You could find any tweet just with the exact word search, and then they started to, once Twitter bought them, it went to crap.
But now that Nick Halstead, who built the tweet meme button, he built DataSift. He's worked on it for more than a year, building this infrastructure to deal with these streams. And you're going to be able to say things like, show me any tweet that has the word Leo Laporte in it, but only show me the ones that were written in Kansas. Or show me only the ones that are positive.
This is exactly what I was talking about, Robert. There's so much, there's gold but there's a lot of sand in there, too, and we need a way to pan the gold out of... I think data sift is actually a very apt name for that. Interesting. I look forward to seeing that. That's cool. Anything else for this week and next week?
No, I think I gave you all the good stuff. Facebook.
We got all your gold.
Thursday?
So Facebook invited a bunch of us press types to Facebook on Thursday to see some sort of new technology. So,
hey, Robert, could I get you on every week to do this week and next week? Just like a 5-minute hit?
I'll try. My wife is really mad at me that I'm taking a Sunday.
But that's what I mean. It'll be 3 minutes. You can do it via FaceTime. And now Robert Scoble's at the beach. What's this week and next week? I think it'd be fun.
I'd say every other week because, there's not that much new stuff that comes
this
up
week and every other week.
This week and every other next week. Robert, great to have you. Thank you for being here. Robert is the man at Rackspace. You can go to Scobleizer.com to read his blog. Building 41.
43.
Whatever. I was off by 2. Is it building43.com?
Yeah.
Building43.com. And he is the man to follow at Scobleizer if you want to know what's happening next week. Thank you, Robert.
Or tomorrow.
And thank your very patient wife. We appreciate it. Becky Worley is on Good Morning America all the time. She did pitch that story on the worm.
I have some credibility as a tech journalist. I'm sure I'll be doing something about saving on diapers next week. So you can follow my tech stuff at bWorley on the Twitter. And I'm going home to make my public Facebook page right now.
Are you? You are going to convert?
Well,
tell me how it goes because I'm terrified to do it.
We can do it.
I got one.
Yeah.
Gotta
do it. Gotta do it.
So I am the Leo Laporte.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No longer Leo Laporte?
Well, my personal page is Leo Laporte.
Right, but you're the
Leo Laporte is the public page, and then TWiT Network for TWiT.
All right.
That's a tough call.
Well, we'll all hold hands and jump off the cliff together.
Let's all put ourselves in the third person.
Here we go. The Brian Brushwood agrees.
Is Brian Brushwood still alive? Find out.
Oh, that's right.
What's the website?
I believe it's isbrianbrushwoodstillalive.com.
Is Leo Laporte Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift. That would be good.
No, I am Taylor Swift.
Taylor
actually.
Hicks.
But yeah, you can follow me at Shwood, SHWOOD. There is no C in Shwood. And hopefully on a public Facebook page.
And by the way,
soon.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I'm glad.
He is. We can verify.
Denise Howell hosts our show This Week in Law. She does it every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern at live.twit.tv. She blogs at singlebagandbaggage.com.
There is no S in bag and baggage.
There's no S in bags and bag and baggage.
Oh, wait. No.
So hard to say. Thank you for being here, Denise. We really appreciate it. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure. So great to be here.
Great to get some brains on this show once in a while.
And don't forget, remind people to stick
Great
around
to
for the
join
after
all
show.
your brains.
Lots of great lip syncing.
We're going to all be
that's
doing...
right.
Really?
No, we're going to show. We got to. Eileen said we're going to put it in as an extra.
Oh yeah,
hang
the
out.
after show. We don't know where it'll appear. It might appear now. Might appear later. But let's just put it. Let's just say this. We're happy in Paraguay. Another twit.
Are you crazy, woman?
Is in the can. I like carp.
Thing is, after Apple School, I'm going to join the rodeo.
You got to watch to find out what we're talking about.
Doing the twit. All right.
Hey, you guys. Who painted my ass white? A pound of relish and an anchovy would kick ass. Want me to Halifax? Watch me eat 450 hard-boiled eggs.
There are too many penguins eating lunch. Shit. How about we have some soup and fried eggs? What's happening?
Any games?
Yeah, whatever. I want some apple juice.
Truth about apple juice is it makes me sick.
Kill Jordy!
I figure we roast him alive.
My mission after Apple School is to win the rodeo.
Yeah, so?
Ninjas hijack my mother. Shoot Steven before we go.
Why don't we have some fries, but check me out. I'm obviously made of fish. Abdomen and some dried fish. Happy? Happy in Paraguay, some horny fish. Are you for panda rape?
You crazy woman?
You shut up!
How many fish heads? 5.
You're crazy. It's time to poo.
What do you say we make apple juice and fax it to each other?
Captain, the French are about to kick my ass.
I can smell that.
Here's a picture of the ovens that are inside the building, and so everything in the building is black because they're open fire ovens inside the building, and it just smells so awesome.
Ooh, extra
Carbon monoxide.
carcinogens.
Banana
Nice.
poisoning, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to work there. It's It's worse than smoking, believe me. But the walls are all black, and the meat is just cooking. It was the best thing.
We went when we did the screensavers from Austin. We went to a place called County Line Barbecue. Is that still around?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. County Line's still very popular.
They took us into the smoker. I smelled like hickory for ages after that.
So the two places everyone talks about in Austin is they talk about County Line and they talk about the Salt Lake. Yeah,
oh,
those
really?
are the two. Yeah.
Okay, I enjoyed County Line, but I never hear the South by people talking. Maybe it's too far away.
But the one that I think is most underrated because they definitely have the best barbecue sauce out of anyone. No. Rudy's barbecue.
Rudy's pretty good. Rudy's, if you go up to the original one in San Antonio, look at all the wood that they burn here in Lockhart. But Lockhart is better. I've been to all those places.
That's not bad for the environment.
Sorry, Lockhart is the best.
That's a renewable resource.
Good for my belly. That's what it is.
Scoble in this room? Almost certainly not. You're 110 kilometers away, according to this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's about right. Yeah, you're down in Half Moon Bay, right?
Half Moon Bay, baby.
Oh, you know what? It's getting it from your Twitter.
Yeah.
You were in Milpitas.
That was last night. So
Did you guys know?
Tweeted on my iPhone.
So it's doing it via the Twitter.
Do Apple stores
That's an honor, Robert. That's a big honor. Somebody would actually write a site to say where you are.
Did you see the post that TechCrunch did about if you search your name, all the names of the of sort of the new .com millionaires, that it's all gold diggers trying to find out if they're married? Like if you search Ev Williams,
oh my gosh,
the result that comes up, or is it Ev or who was it? It was one of the Jack Dorsey. It's Jack Dorsey married. It's like all these different things that come up. It was on TechCrunch. It was so funny, and it is sort of a new ego search. Is what is the second term when you search yourself? What?
Oh yeah, as you type your name, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love the ones I get. Leo Laporte sucks. Leo Laporte bites my rump. No, actually, these are pretty good. You start is Leo Laporte.
It's like a non-ego search.
Is Leo Laporte gay? Is Leo Laporte Mormon? Is Leo Laporte live? Is Leo Laporte on Facebook? Why would people search for that?
Maybe it's the white shirt you're wearing. They think you're Mormon. You just got to put a name tag on the side.
I get husband and legs. I think that's.
Well, you do have some pretty nice names.
I was truly honored by that, and I just don't want to go after
look at the first one is for Brian Brushwood. Is Brian Brushwood still alive?
Yeah, well, that's because of the Afterlife Me. Remember the Afterlife Me project?
And then Brian
gay.
Brushwood gay?
So we're in the same club right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, according to this TechCrunch article by Paul Karts, Jack Dorsey girlfriend, Jack Dorsey Square, Jack Dorsey net worth. Then it's Mark Zuckerberg girlfriend is the first one. Aaron Peter girlfriend. Kevin Rose girlfriend. Dennis Crowley girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But Biz Stone, no love.
No love.
Biz gets aced, so could be worse.
Kevin Rose Samovar owner. Kevin Rose Foundation Twitter blog.
Dude, is Kevin Rose.
Is Kevin Rose rich, a millionaire, married?
Is Kevin Rose
Oh my gosh, there it is. Single, dating.
He doesn't.
What? Gold diggers
Yeah.
are after these guys. It's a gold digger fest.
Wow.
I know. I love it.
By the way, no, yes, no. Just so you know. I happen to know Kevin Rose. Well, let's see. Is Becky Worley what?
I'm sure.
Is Becky Worley hot? Who would search for that?
Boo! I'm so jealous. We get gay, you get hot.
Is there irony, people? Hello?
But I mean, presumably someone's able to form an opinion on that without having to search for it.
Yeah, it's funny that they would Google that.
I know. Is she? I'm so confused. Is Becky Worley hot? That is such a good
What's
question.
interesting is how many people are searching to find out somebody's gay on Google. I don't understand. Is there a Google gay test?
I'm telling you, is Tom Merritt leave CNET? Is Tom Merritt gay?
Now,
Eileen?
I'll tell you, I have started to phrase a lot of questions as questions on Google, just so I'm hoping somebody else will have asked the same question. And you find them, because the Yahoo Answers thing often is the result that comes up.
Well, and this is interesting. I just typed is, and I get, is Kev Jumba a heterosexual bear wrestler?
I got the same thing. Is Santa real? Is Daniel Tosh gay? Is Facebook shutting down? And is Kev Jumba a heterosexual bear wrestler?
Well, I want to know.
Which I don't know if he only wrestles heterosexual bears.
I had no idea that Google is such an arbiter of sexuality because I just typed in, I was like, okay, let me think of something that is a good question. And I'm like, is Eric Schmidt going to become the Secretary of Commerce? But I started with, is Eric Schmidt? Of course.
Right.
Gay is in there, but it's only number 2. Number 1 is Eric Schmidt Jewish? Is Eric Schmidt gay? Is Eric Schmidt a good CEO? So it's just like every single one is there. People are trying to figure out who's gay and who is not.
Robert, what are you showing us there?
If you search Robert Scoble gay, you find these pictures on TechCrunch.
Why would TechCrunch publish those?
I went to this really killer party in London last year, and I had a few too many vodkas, and guys were kissing me, and some pictures showed up on TechCrunch. Wow. It was great.
Nice.
And I would do it again.
Wow. The experiment was...
I think the pump is primed. I'm ready to start TWiT.
Jeez Louise. Let's get going now, baby.
We're not even started. Oh,
no, that was just the pre-show.
We started with TWiT After Dark to begin with.
So is Key Jumba a heterosexual bear wrestler?
Yeah, there's a video.
It says yes. It's on.
Wow.
I think it means bear in the gay sense, like big, burly, hairy guys. He's a heterosexual guy who likes to wrestle big, hairy.
Oh, okay. Well, then that was TWiT.
Thanks for joining us. Let me read 3 commercials and we'll be done. It's just that easy, folks.
I can't believe I brought the best stuff before we even started the show.
For those of you wondering, how can I get into new media? This is it. Just invite Becky, Worley, Brian Brushwood, Robert Scoble, and Denise Howell, and the rest takes care of itself.
This is going to be a great episode.
What happens if you type "is TWiT"?
You know what?
I don't know.
If they say "is TWiT gay?"
Seriously, this is a new business. Isgay.com.
Twitter down.
This should be a new
that's
business.
The problem. It's all about Twitter. Damn it. Is Twitter free? Is Twitter profitable? Is Twitter safe? Is Twitter making money?
Wow.
I get no love at all.
Oh, here's a good one. Is the world going to end in 2012?
We're just, guarding our privacy a little more effectively.
Maybe that's it. How about is Charlie Sheen bipolar, crazy, dead, insane, or manic?
Did you hear about his show last night?
Yeah, you want to see that?
Yeah, I do actually. That was a moment of weakness you just heard in my voice.
I think you do.
I want to indulge in some Schadenfreude.
As a performer, exactly. You want to see somebody else flop.
You know, and he's got to be so mad at Rebecca Black.
What, for stealing?
Yeah, I mean, she definitely took the zeitgeist.
Hey, that's what happens.
And ran with it.
You had your 15 minutes. It's her turn.
I know, but you could see the man was banking on it.
Well,
was that true? That was for a bat mitzvah? I didn't know that on the Friday thing.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Is that her parents paid $2,000. She said this in an interview with Leno, I think, or the GMA. You should know, Becky. Her parents paid $2,000 for it. I think it was for her bat mitzvah. She's 13. That makes sense. And I don't know how it got on the internet, but I think ARC put it on the internet.
Well, there's another one like that. Like he's Zach,
a ton of
Stand
them.
Back.
He's Zach, exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is a big.
It's a thing. It's a thing the kids are doing.
It's a thing the rich.
Wow.
I mean, the
rich
newly
parents
minted adults are doing.
I would like to do that. I'm going to suggest this to GMA
I want to do the lip sync
as a story.
Oh, you should.
I want to make
Becky
my
Worley,
own
that would be
music
good.
video.
See, this is when you have a real media outlet.
That'd be great. You throw $2,000. You like, she's Becky.
What does it look like? Like, I have no talent.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
Friday. You know what, though?
Will they help me?
The problem is they accidentally wrote a catchy song. That's what. Here we go.
Last night, Charlie Sheen went on Twitter and called himself a Sheenius. Apparently, the audience did not agree, at least many people in the audience, because they were booing. The first show of the actor's nationwide tour ended up being what you might call an epic fail. Here's Chris Connolly.
Charlie Sheen came to Detroit on Saturday night, and fans were waiting for him. Like the 69-year-old man from Connecticut said he'd paid $500 for a ticket.
I wanted to go tonight because I don't know if this is going to be his first or his last show.
Sheen is calling his live on-stage tour My Violent Torpedo of Truth. Defeat is not an option. Apparently it was.
This is kind of a hit piece, I have to say.
It took the 44-year-old star of 2.5 Men about 10 days to enrage the people who were paying him. Last night, it took him less than an hour. Progress? And reports that Sheen hit the stage to a roaring ovation a little after 9 p.m., following a film montage and a kiss shared by the women he calls his goddesses. On stage, he burned his 2.5 Men shirt and demanded freedom from evil weirdos. But the rants and videos that followed covered little new ground and had the audience acting restless some 30 minutes
I love the way
in.
ABC is chopping up
took a few
YouTube
questions,
video from
asked
Bug
the audience
Dave.
Here's try crack. As the booze began to rain down.
Guess they forgot to bring their
I've already
YouTube camera.
got your money, dude, Sheen said to one disgruntled fan. With the catcalls growing to a din, Sheen showed a parody of his 2020 interview and left the stage a little after 10, playing a music video from Snoop Dogg entitled Winning, before the house lights came up, ending the show. With tickets initially selling for close to $70, some were not especially amused afterwards.
Don't people price. It was really boring. He's definitely not winning. He's losing.
What'd you expect, you nitwits?
Now, hold on.
You
When
went
say
there
what-
to see a car wreck and you're complaining?
No. Because here's the thing. Like in Charlie Sheen's defense, like he was a genius on those interviews on the news, and he showed a lot of creativity and bizarre energy, and that's what people wanted more of. But like for example, I went to Kevin Smith's thing where he showed Red State and then did a Q&A afterward. I mean, that guy could capture an audience and draw them in, and I guess just Charlie Sheen couldn't. So it's not that they're dumb for wanting. It's Charlie Sheen let it down.
They thought there'd be more there.
Yeah, he didn't have it.
All they had to do is watch his YouTube show.
Denise gave up.
Ustream channel.
Denise probably had to go.
My favorite part of that is that that was on from GMA this morning, that piece that we just watched.
Really?
And now I don't feel so bad because I pitched them on the Liza Moon sequel injection attack, and shockingly they took that piece over mine.
The Liza Moon sequel injection attack is a huge story.
I know, but they took Charlie
A real
over me.
story.
I know. Now at least it wasn't my fault. It was Charlie's fault.
So
See?
people are asking, is the real twit, an actual twit, going to be today?
This is
Yes,
it.
this is it. And it's starting.
Not only are people asking that, our producers in here demanding.
And the scary part, there has been no drinking preceding this.
Like,
this
no
is
lie.
sober
No lie, Eileen walked in doing this. Like, come on, guys. Let's, please. Really?
We got to do a show. No, we lost Denise. That's what we were doing.
Oh,
Yeah, we're covering. See, we were covering so well, you thought we were.
No, Denise is. I think
Goofing around.
Skype crashed here, Denise. There was a weird thing.
Yes, you went offline.
Yeah, Skype crashed.
Said my Skype.
Yep.
Stars.
All right. I guess I should record now.
This is good. This is the equivalent of limbering up. We stretched out all our muscles.
Or used up all our material.
Ready to rock.
It remains to be seen.
It's done and
I
done.
cried off all my mascara watching the pre-show video.
Oh my God. I know.
It's so funny.
I know. It was wild. All that lip syncing.
Happy and paranoid.
All right, here we go. Let me put up the reminder that what you're about to see is not real.